the housing expensive. And then after doing that research, then I know how to vote for myself, right? It's my own truth finding.
As an economist and a psychiatrist, I can help you out on that.
Listen, dude, it's not that it's not Matthew. Matthew, it's not that difficult to determine how to price objects in the real world, dude. Do you have a serious question? Hello?
Before we go,
are you saying that he doesn't have the ability to understand the capacity for the housing market in his own country?
I mean, I don't think he wants to get into the details right now. I just real quick.
Yeah, because you're in Canada right now at the moment, and I'm in Australia, and our problems have overlapping similarity. And I can explain to you.
I agree with you.
I can explain to you a few concepts based on the things that you were asking. So,
but this is kind of so. Russell, you weren't here earlier. I was just giving this as an example of how we're manipulated by politicians, because the politicians, if they're on the left side, they're going to say it's caused by these reasons, and if they're on the right side, they're going to say it's caused by these reasons.
Matthew,
you know.
For example, okay, so I'll just give you a little bit.
It's not really about the housing. Yeah, thank you.
So, real quick, it's more nefarious, Matthew. You kind of just overlooking the whole thing. We expect our both sides to be doing what they're doing, right? Going back and forth, exchanging ideas, trying to figure this out by ourselves, like you're saying, doing our own research. But we have a group of people that are telling us nefariously that what we see in front of us isn't happening, right? And that's our own people. It's not even politicians. We're just talking about people showing up on stage. So you've kind of just glossed over it. This is way more nefarious than how you're interpreting it. It's not like, oh, well, we can't actually figure this out for ourselves. You know what I mean? We easily can. We just got people telling us, very similar to what Marshall did, that that we have to be objective, but they don't. You know what I mean? You just kind of skipped over that. I don't understand why you don't understand that part of things. You just don't.
Yeah, Matt. No, I was just talking about so my life philosophy, Matt, is basically as quickly as I can. Honestly, the only way for me to do that is to understand bullshit 99% of the shit in this world I don't understand. And so I've never accomplished anything in my life. It's because kind of knowing what to do in situations I don't know much about. Right? So it's every single thing in my life. I was saying before, I vote either way, one way or the other. I'm going to really try to understand the issue as best as I can.
Strike the master chord.
Constantly, 24 hours a day?
Yeah. No, I agree. And so that's why I would always encourage everybody around me to forget the madness and the new situations and be as close as you can. I mean, that's the only thing that I can do.
But real quick, it's a little bit more nefarious. I'm trying to really look on this nefarious part. Those people know what they're doing. These are very few people that are just showing up on the stage today. And they know what they're doing. Maybe they're so stupid that they don't realize it. Maybe that could be the case. But I think I'm going to give them a little more credit that they actually know what they're doing. And I as you as a Canadian might just not get that. I have no how else to put it. You're missing that part. Because I think, Joe, myself, if you caught us 10 years ago, maybe we would be more objective or whatever, whatever. But we're at a point where it's you can't hold that standard without holding the standard to yourself, like Joe said. You know what I mean?
The problem with my whole sort of left-right split, is that the people who I think that might be on my side actually aren't. And unless I understand any particular individual very, very well, I can never know if I'm being bamboozled or not.
Hospital.
Well, that's a you problem, my friend.
If you know people know what they're doing, really not a good thing. Like it's we've done this so much on this app for so long. We know what people are doing. You know what I mean? So
Well, I'm a bit confused.
Why do we have to be so objective to that particular piece right there? Like we're gonna call it.
I'll be honest with you, Matt. I am a bit confused. Can you give me like a clear example of what you're talking about? I apologize.
Well, were you not here for the ID discussion about, what was that, Joe, 20 minutes ago? 20, 30 minutes ago, where we gaslit.
Right in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. No,
he didn't at the beginning of it, I don't think.
There's no doubt that if you want to vote, you should have your ID with you. I mean, that's just for me. It's fucking common
We were
sense.
gaslit that things aren't happening and like all this other junk. Like that's what we're talking about. Is a nefarious thing that is being done. This isn't like, oh, let's exchange ideas. This is just literally like nefarious misinformation. Things like you're not. What you're saying is not completely true at all. Like this is ridiculous. You know.
Right.
So, and what we're hitting at, Matthew, is I had the exchange with Romero about the ID, and I do it in a roundabout way by asking questions, challenging his logic, without just coming out and just stating what my opinion was. Free comes in and states out what his opinion is, right? And right away, Marshall came to the rescue to try and save Romero after you heard them exchange pleasantries between each other, right? So right there you saw this allyship that they have. And then Marshall acted in he gave a layup or an assist to try and diminish the point Free just made without addressing the point Free made.
Which is me, because when I heard them talking, I was like, because Marshall does that shit. He pretends he's on the right, but he comes to the left, which is insane. The bottom line is, and this is where I get a little pushback. I would say that we're not being biased. We have favoritism, which is fine. Everyone has a favoritism because clearly I'm on the right, so I'm favor the right. I'm left, I favor left. The bias aspect is that we're being unfair, which is something that I'm against, and I know it's hard to do that because we're humans.
Work with our allies when we face a combat scenario. Only together can we actually serve together. And Trump wanting to kowtow to Kim Jong, which he's not going to call it that, but I'll call it that. Certainly does not look all that good. So I'll say those two things about it.
So where does it put somebody like you, Marshall? You are a party member and operative. You joined the party believing it to be one thing. Now it's clearly another. Where does that leave?
Hello, moderators. Moderators, if I may interrupt. Moderators, if I can interrupt and just ask a quick question. I'd like to play Marshall Rankin speaking in another room to give you a quick sample of Marshall Rankin. Would that be okay?
That's cool. Let me finish this real quick. Give me 10 seconds.
The answer to that question is yes, then I'll say a Republican. If the answer to that question becomes no, I can no longer get stuff done for the community, then I will stop being a Republican.
So I've got the sense of what you just said through this commentary, that when it comes to the local politics, which is of great interest for you, you feel that the Republican Party is worth embracing because they're going to fight for the values locally that you believe in. But how does that, where does that leave you when it comes to the national politics and the Republican Party?
Kind of without a home, right? I don't really have a home in the National Party. I don't really have a home in the state party. I can identify with parts of what they say, but I don't find myself identifying with the National Party, say, the same way I did under W, right? And I wasn't even involved under W. I was just a high school kid. But I always identified more with national politics with W than I have with Trump. So,
does that make it more difficult given the fact that the president is so much underwater? Does that make it more difficult for you to organize on a local basis for the Republican Party? Because
this is live.
The symbol of the Republican Party is President Trump.
He says he's not a Republican. Only under
If
Bush.
I pose the recruitment on grounds of national politics, yes. But most of the time when I recruit people, it is hey, come be helpful for your community, right? We'll get you involved in some national state stuff if you want to be, but like, come be involved for your community. So that's usually my pitch. And I'm not on the state board for the Young Republicans, so I don't really have to worry about the statewide messaging.
But you don't get pushback from constituents on this?
No, I don't. I push back from people in my own Republican group, right? I know I'm in this one chat group where there are people who don't like Muslims and they're critical of Israel. And they just, they're bigoted. And it doesn't describe most people. It doesn't describe even half the people in the group. But it describes somebody who likes to flap their gums.
Like
and
Marshall.
So,
just like Marshall.
Takes on a rather large voice in this group.
I have a question. They said that, so the doctor, I'm fine, but the doctor has to be left like.
All right, that's your sample of Marshall Stankin Rankin.
Yeah, I didn't find anything wrong with what he said. The way that I see it is that Martha tried to remain independent-minded, I honestly don't see anything wrong with what he's saying there. What he's saying is that he doesn't agree. What he's saying is he's a man that's not prone to groupthink.
Matthew, when you make your point, you don't then got to double down on it. You just made your point. You said there's nothing that he's doing wrong. Look, I clearly hear what is wrong, and this is why we have trouble with Marshall, is because he's, lack of better terms, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay?
Hey guys, I've just joined mid-chat.
We're mocking people. We're mocking people who we think are wastes of time, like Marshall Stankin Rankin. There's no need to actually destroy anybody's identity or character or history. The fact of the matter is, if you listen to retards long enough, you realize you are the retard. So, in politics, we have to be transparent. We have to be accurate. We have to be truthful. And really, if you go around parading as a Republican, but yet you shit all over Donald Trump all day, every day, in every way possible, including his administration and all people that work with him, you are not a Republican. You are a faggot retard walking around claiming that you are a Republican.
Like it was under Reagan. But I would also, without changing the subject, Jerry, I would also put the question.
You do realize Alistair's being sarcastic.
No, Matthew, I don't think the mods of this room are faggot retards, Matthew. I think you are far more of a faggot retard than the mods are. That's you, Matthew. Hello?
I know him well enough. He's been
so listen, Edmund's one of my favorite contributors. It was just an hour ago, Edmund, I was hailing your wisdom right here in front of Matt. Isn't that true, Matt? So, no, actually about similar to what you just said, about Clubhouse and about having the same conversations all the time on Clubhouse. But Matthew, listen, do you take these conversations at face value, as if it's just a group of people that care about their society and world around, or think there are people that are advancing narratives for their cause?
I think there are both those things. I think what's happening is that people believe in the narratives that their politicians are feeding them, that they come on this app. It's a tiny app, tiny audience, so it won't really make much difference at all. And they will try to advance their cause. My cause is all I want people to do is to take up each issue as an individual thing, research the fuck out of it, and make up your decision for yourself.
I will assure you, Matthew, 99% of the speakers in American politics are saying and acting and behaving in certain ways to advance their cause. That's it. It is not an objective discussion between civilians that just want to have a better society. Unless you're in an echo chamber room of like-minded people discussing a topic, and this is why I'm such a huge fan of echo chambers, is that's when you actually get to have fantastic conversations and be objective. But when you have marshals, which are wolves in sheep clothing, pretending to be Republicans, and you have Democrats on stage with this moral superiority complex, they're constantly playing off each other. When a great point is made by a right-winger, to instantly come over the top and diminish what they just said, or move the goalpost, swing the conversation to another direction. I don't know if you see conversational debate the same way that I see it, but I see these moves and I hear these moves.
I see it differently.
Okay, I see conversational warfare occurring. People advancing, people sidestepping, people redirecting. I see these moves that people make. Now, sometimes on Clubhouse, it's blurred with substance abuse, and crash out emotion.
That's funny. Right? That's true.
But this isn't really the top tier debate team that we're having here. But I can assure you, 99% of the American speakers are when they're talking politics, especially when they are talking with opposition,
right,
that they are not being objective ever, 100%.
Right. And Joe, my thing about politics is like I don't care how other people vote. I like if there's a tower going up in my neighborhood, what the politicians tell me, I couldn't give two fucks, because I know they're already bought off. Like you're saying, right? They're bought off, right? 100% they are. What I want to do is I want to know if that tower is going to be any good for me or not, right? I want to know the issue at hand. I don't care about the drama or the pro wrestling. I don't care what the news says. I know they all got their reasons. It's all corrupt. I want to know, when that tower goes up, is it actually going to be beneficial to me? In what way? Yes or no? Forget all the fluff. Get right down to it. That's I think that's important to do. I think sometimes we get too caught up in the wrestling. We get too caught up in the team sports, and sometimes we don't even know what the issue itself is. Right? It's just like, you know what I mean? It's like it's like, it reminds me of this book. It's called The Society of the Spectacle. This dude was talking about how things that we used to experience directly in our lives, firsthand. It's all our first hand experience with thrown to the side, and now we're turned into spectators, and they'll feed us an issue on TV and the information system give us, and all that information is eventually replace the real thing, but I want to know the real thing. I don't care about the drama of politics.
Let me up here for a second. I wish I could agree with you. I mean, some just don't really. The problem is that not historically, in recent times, we've had an assassination of a public figure, Charlie Kirk, of course. We had several assassination attempts on our president. We had assassination attempts on the vice president, which a lot of people don't know about. All of these are by somebody affiliated with the LGBT community, ironically. We've had tons of attacks on personal citizens, which you typically don't hear about. I forgot the guy's name. A guy that was stalked and killed, something done. Anyhow, I'm not going to go on forever. The bottom line is, if it was just a matter of opinions and we're kind of just missing the point here, that would be more in line with what you're saying. But we have actual actions happening to where people can't walk around with their Trump supporting shirts or hats on or stuff on their cars because they'll get vandalized. They'll get attacked, shot at, stabbed, jumped, etc. These are real world things we have to respond to, because that side has been radicalized to where there's little to no tolerance for people who disagree with them, even in their own space. So
you want a safer society? I'm all about that, bro. I lived in Japan a long time. My wife's Japanese. It's super high trust society, but I'm telling you, you can leave your I literally forgot my wallet in the middle of Shinjuku fucking station. 3 million people.
I don't want you to miss the point I'm making. I'm not saying no, not just about a safer society. It's about a certain ideology that's promoting violence towards another group and people outside of that group, right? That's cultish mentality. So it's not just a matter of safety, right? Because we always wanted safety. Like, that's always going to be the case. The problem is we see a hyper radicalization amongst a certain mentality that happen to have a political leaning to it. So the BLM riots, the Antifa, I mean, we go on forever. That's why we can't see eye to eye on some of these issues, because it's not just a matter of political ideas. It's actually a actual war that we're kind of being passive about. Because, and I'm going to land on this because I know I'm saying a lot of points. When people say it's happening on both sides, that undermine. It's like saying, hey, women great men too. It's like, what? Like, yeah, well, that happens sometimes, but nowhere near as much as being great women. So when someone say both sides rape each other, it sounds dumb. You know, so yes, both sides commit some level of violence, but clearly one side is doing it far more to the other, and even almost their own. So like we just have to be, straight up with that type of observance.
Yeah, no, I think the greatest thing any society can ever do is create a high trust society. Honestly, that's like the ultimate goal. That's what you want. You want people, you don't have to lock your doors, everybody trusts each other, where you can walk in the most ghetto, most quote-unquote dangerous place in the entire country and be completely free. Because that's real freedom, when you don't have to worry about it.
But Matthew,
Let's get Mr. Edward. Mr. Edward.
The question is, like, how best to do that, right? Like, what is the best way to do that,
If I could share with you, Matthew, this is my observation when you say high trust. If you can't trust yourself in a society, you individually, it's going to be very difficult. See, for me, people have a lot of intentions. So I judge results as well as people's intentions, all right? I ask myself these different questions and I put it down in the chat, right? If there's a policy that's out here, does it produce results?
Exactly.
So watch, if we talk about employment, okay, does the government produce employment? No, the person who opens a business hires people, okay? Inflation or crime is committed by the individual, okay, including the government. If you are insider trading, if you're doing bad stuff or you got bad intentions, you're still doing that. Even educational outcomes. These schools in the United States who only want a certain number of students and they're screening them. What about our government spending? And I believe that all happens at the local level. Okay. Now, right now, if you look at the U.S. border enforcement, we got people in the United States who believe that ICE should be removed. Okay. Now, to me, this is the most craziest thing on the planet. Who want to live in a society where there is not enforcement of laws? So now we just get rid of all our laws? And is there anything called national security? So what I do, and I'll give you this, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, and this for everybody, a simple standard for citizens can carry every political discussion if we want to really talk about it. What are the facts? Okay? What are the facts that we can all agree on? Whether you, quote unquote, on the left or the right, or independent or whatever. What are the facts?
That's the thing.
You go ahead. You said it.
Yeah. Because hey, facts do exist.
Yes,
right?
they do.
An economy is good. A city is doing good for very specific, objective reasons.
Correct.
Yeah.
But watch this. Watch this. This is a fact. Okay.
The thing is the politicians who always spin it, right? That's the problem.
I know, but again,
it's hard to get to.
But no, it's not. Let me finish. Watch this. What is the constitutional principle of what I'm believing? Right? There has to be a constitutional principle that if the politician is not basing everything on that principle, then I don't have to believe it. And then what is the evidence?
Yeah, sticking to the economics, right? I mean, if a city is doing real well, a simple thing, what you could do is say, hey, system over here. Let's see how that works out over here. Let's do what those are doing. Forget, the Constitution stuff, the political stuff. If people, just hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. Maybe I said that wrong, right? But let's say I don't know, road system or a train system's doing real well in one city. It's good to just copy that, and everything has its own logic, right? Like the reason, like a plumber, he thinks like a plumber. He understands that system, right? Economists think in terms of economics. So yeah, I do believe that the specialist should handle the problems. The problem is,
I didn't say the specialist. I didn't say the specialist.
Well, the specialist, he knows most about that thing, right? Like, I don't know what you do for a living, Joe, but I assume you specialize at something for sure.
Yes, correct.
Right?
But some people, you know what some people specialize in? Some people specialize in government. They want the government to support them. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what they specialize in. So for me, I'm not going that. You're arguing differently. So watch this. This is what I say. If a political party right now is in place, would we apply the same standards to each party in power? I don't think that is. No, we should, but it's not happening. Yeah. So I don't want to eliminate disagreement because I believe in clarity over agreement. If I'm going to disagree, this is what I want. I want to be more informed, not less informed. I want it to be consistent, and I want it to be intellectually fair, where we are actually talking about the same thing, which is essentially self-government. I don't think that a lot of people believe in self-government. I hear, and Matt said it earlier, we got a lot of people here that are just talking a lot of things, but they don't know the biblical principle. They don't know the constitutional principle. They don't know anything. But you know what? They want their government to do everything for them, and that's just wrong. Okay? I am responsible for my life. There's no government entity anywhere, whether it's Japan, whether it's England, Israel, America. There's no place on planet Earth that's going to be more important than what Edward decides for his life. And if I believe that my local mayor or my local senator or the assemblyman or my governor has my interest in mind more than me, I would be fooling myself. That's fool's gold. And I land on this, Matthew. The reason why I love America is that our founding fathers put the responsibility in the hands of the individual. And unfortunately, we the people have gotten away from that.
I want to give a hypothetical, Matthew. Imagine, I'm going to ask you a question. Will you play along with my hypothetical? It's not a gotcha.
No, 100%. Yeah.
It just demonstrates a point. I'm not going to try and fool you. You imagine you're a king of a territory with subjects, and your subjects are complaining about the sun is burning their skin, and they cry out, "King, King, I work in the fields and I come home with my skin aching. Is there something you could do to the sun?" Now, are you going to, as king, are you going to objectively offer a solution or give them what they want to hear?
Yeah, exactly right, Joe. So the problem is that the politicians know that people want to be lied to. You know?
At risk, if say the king comes back and says, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I know you work long hours. Maybe we could shift it working at night. And you come in objectively like that. Well, now the king is at risk of
losing power,
right? Rising up and chopping
exactly.
And someone else coming along and saying, hey, look, I have the power to control the sun, and I can prevent the sun from burning your skin.
Right.
That's politics.
Yeah, and that's why I keep going over this point over and over again, right? Is that for me, the point of my life is to try to make as many good decisions as quickly as I possibly can. So when I don't know something, I'm going to go to that specialist, right? And so if I don't know anything about sunburns, right, Joe? Let's say I'm living in this kingdom, and I don't know anything about sunburns, and the king says, I'm gonna, do the magic Wookie Wookie dance, and then nobody's gonna get sunburns. Just vote for me next year. And everybody around me is in this kind of hypnotic state, and they're like, yes, the Wookie Wookie dance is gonna save us. He's our king. He's our man. He's going to save us. And I consult with a specialist, and the specialist says, well, man, the Wookie Wookie dance is not going to do any good. But then another politician comes along and he says, hey, you guys have to go out there and plant trees. And then, your generation is going to be sunburned, but the next generation is going to have less suntan because, they're going to have the shade to rest under. I want to know, the first thing for me to do is to get to that truth. So I want to know if the politicians are feeding me bullshit or not. Right? That's all I can do.
Yeah, but in reality, a lot of the issues we have is that specialist is making money from the king. They're being paid by the king, or customers of that specialist are being subsidized by the king.
Yeah,
and then that specialist has an incentive to cover the king's ass and says, well, you know what? What if he lies to you? So what comes back to Mr. Edwards' point is the only one is you. What about you becoming your own expert in sunburns?
Yeah,
to be able to discern what it is. And that's really the only real path, because it's really hard for me, there are good people out there. I get it. There are good people out there that are not they're not agenda based when it comes to certain topics, right? Certain issues. And you hope when you go to that specialist that they're doing it for humanity, and they're not doing it to enrich themselves purely off of lies, right? Or to hold the power structure of the king and his round table, right?
Right, exactly right. So where sometimes we end up fooling ourselves is, certain issues like economics are very, very complicated. They genuinely are. There's so many reasons for so many different causal.
There's so many reasons for so many things. It's such a complicated world. Wow. Listen, the point is, ladies and gentlemen, you are all wasting your time 99.9% of the time on this app, and maybe even off of this app. All I'm trying to tell you is, if you listen to faggot Canadian retards all day long that can't shut their fucking mouth and put a fucking zipper on it, you could be the faggot retard that you are criticizing. I'm just saying. Hello?
People like Alistair are actually part of the system. They don't want you to actually think. And that's why I'm a threat to him, because he...
Let me get the projection mirror and hold it up to your faggot face. I am now holding a mirror up to your faggot projection onto me. This is how projection works real time. You have been captured in my projection detection system, faggot.
Yeah. So there it is. He's fucking hilarious.
John Kitover by far spends the most time on this app.
Yeah, he does. Because he thinks you guys are fucking idiots, that's why. I know he's being sarcastic.
Like, he has 3 rooms open right now.
Anyways, I always encourage people to do as much...
Tapes are filling there, right? Tapes. See, he has tens of accounts.
There's an entire information system that really doesn't want people to think. It wants them to be entertained. It wants them to respond to the information system, to the spectacle. It wants an entire system out there that wants you to make...
Matthew, when was the last time somebody told you that you're just a fucking gabber, bro? You are a faggot gabber. When are you going for your power walk? Hello?
Like Alice, he wants you to believe, or he's being sarcastic, but that the information system will stand in for reality, but it's not. You know, we're being constantly fed lies, like all the time. More so simplifications, oversimplifications, and politicized reasoning, you know. But anyways, it's
In major politics, simplification plus authenticity comes first. Then details go to the other layers.
Matthew, where's the biggest propaganda coming from, like within or outside the United States?
There's a lot of propaganda coming at us from almost every informational sphere that you can possibly imagine.
Here, I want to shift a little bit. I don't know if you're trolling us or what. But would love to hear from you.
I am sorry. I'm not trolling anyone, and I'm sorry for my accent. I have an Indian accent, but I so respect you all. But I just feel like this country is being unfair to legal immigrants.
Definitely.
And
Share with us. I don't know, because look, I am a heritage American that I feel overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed by the level of immigration that has occurred here recently in America. That I feel like either the culture I grew up in is changing, and it's being watered down from immigrants. So I share those fears that in turn make you fearful. And I'd love to hash that out with you and want to hear your take. What is it like being an immigrant?
So, 29 years old. I came from India. I am doing a master's here, MBA in finance. And all I am hearing is that how US doesn't want immigrants. And I am okay if the US doesn't want criminals, rapists, illegal immigrants who just cross the borders, break the law, and everything. But legal immigrants like me, because I'm on F1 visa, I just feel so unwanted, and I just feel like since I've come to this country, I've lost myself. Because I used to be so outspoken, I used to be so nice, so outgoing, such a happy person when I was back in India. But since I have come to this country, I just feel like nobody wants me here. Should I even open my mouth? Because I have an Indian accent. Like, because I thought America is, and it's still such a great country. All the other countries in the world are not as
This
great
is
as
the issue
America,
of
right?
immigration, not only America,
All the baddies that stay.
Indians are a big part of American culture.
Immigration issue in the excellence village.
Can I ask a question?
The same experience.
Sure, but guys, I just have a request. Please don't roast me. I'm sorry. I just can't take it.
No. Why come? So, look, in India, there's so many great institutions, IIT, BITS Pilani, so many great institutions.
Yeah.
To come. So why U.S.? Why not
Okay,
go
so-
there, make the country
okay.
better over
I'll
there?
tell you. So in India, what happens is there's a fucking caste system. So I belong to upper caste, which is bullshit. So now there's a quota system. If you belong to a lower caste because you were oppressed sometime, which is also right, so if somebody from lower caste scores 69%, they get to go to the IAM, IITs, bigger colleges. But if a general caste, that's me, if she gets 70%, she will still not get into the bigger colleges,
Yeah.
And then for me, my father is a retired army person in India. Now, as the average, I would say that I have been above average in India, but I was not able to set up my own business or get a government job in India, okay? Which you have to do a lot of competitive exams and clear some rankings and all. I couldn't do it, right? Because I was just an average person. And then I did my MBA in India and I started to work in corporate sector. But there was no respect for me.
So
And
what
in
you
US,
experience with
I'm sorry, in US, even if you work in Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King, even you for a truck driver, everybody respects everyone so much. It's such an
that's not
amazing
true.
place to be.
So,
No,
so,
I'm
so,
saying
so,
that.
so, hold on. So, So hold on. I just want to ask you. I just want to go down this rabbit hole with you. So just to be clear, what you experienced is what U.S. called for a long time affirmative action. A lot of people that were considered lower, quote unquote, were getting into and that's quote unquote because I don't agree with it, but they were somehow considered lower. They were getting opportunities that people who were well qualified weren't getting. We had that for a long time. The current administration got rid of that. Just like, that was something that was happening for a long time. People objected to it. You see the exact effects of it. Those of you who supported affirmative action, she's giving an exact example of how that can discriminate against people that are qualified in favor of may not be just because they want to meet certain social quotas. So yeah, whatever you want to call it. But a few other things just to let you know, right? If you go to an average, you see, one of the qualms here in the U.S. is if highly skilled people are there in India, they could make India better. For example, there's a company called HCL Technologies. I'm sure you're familiar with them. They do a lot of work in India. They actually use the
something?
They
I'm
also.
sorry. Am I
Hold on,
interrupting you?
Yeah, just let me finish.
Okay, sure. Sorry. Go ahead.
One thing. So they do a lot of work in they used to work in the US, do a lot of consulting in the US. They moved out with the focus of saying, let's make India better. Every immigrant I've spoken to who comes to the US, every person who's come from India, the number one thing they say is the opportunity to make money is so much greater here in the US. Therefore, that's the reason I came. And that's what bothers me the most. You didn't say that, but that's what bothers me the most because there's opportunities to make money in India. And I know a lot of people have made a lot of money.
Yes, so I'll tell you. So my problem is so for example, if I was a US citizen, right? If I didn't even have a master's and I just had a bachelor's degree, I would have still been able to to make a living for myself, right? But in India, either you have to have like a good business, either you have to have like a government job, or either you have to be so top notch in your academics and your professionalism that you are such a genius that you can get into Infosys, Google, Microsoft, HCL, L&T and everything. But what about the people like me who are just above average, like who just want to live a normal living life,
So do you see that now, the dilemma? Now you said something really important. Do you see the dilemma here? You're saying, okay, well, I want to come to the U.S. and I want to displace the average American who is average here in the U.S. And with the companies that want to hire those average people, I want to displace those Americans and take away their job because I want to do it. So that's the mentality that's there. So why should you coming from another country
should take the jobs, right? Exactly my point. Now, can I tell something about it? I am dating a white man, okay? And I was just telling him yesterday, I was like, I literally understand that why are you guys doing it? And it's literally, so like if in India, somebody comes and be like, oh, I'm taking all the Indian jobs and all, maybe we would have a problem, maybe we would not have a problem. But now my point is, and I understand like immigration is getting so much overwhelming in US because US is the greatest country in the world.
She came with visa. Opportunity is hers. You don't have to explain much. They gave you the opportunity. Now he says why? You gave the visa yourself.
Yeah, and your first problem is you're dating a white
visa, right?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you guys.
Don't worry, we can't understand him either.
So my point is
saying that the right is yours because you already have a legal visa.
Forget. See, Peter. See, my point. See, Peter, my point.
Already considered before.
See, my point is if you have to get a US visa, like I don't know about the illegal routes, but if you're taking a legal route, so for example, I'm an Indian, so I had to do my biometrics, and then I had to go to the US embassy in India and fucking clear an interview where there was technical round and they asked all the So I did that, and then they gave me the visa. They could rejected me as well. They thought like she's a good candidate for a student and all, so they gave me the visa, and I have a visa for 5 years, which is understandable. Now my point is, I have nothing against US, but my question is, if the US doesn't want immigrants to come here, right, to get a job, to have everything, like whatever, if they still want the immigrants to come here, like the tourists to come here on a B2 B1 visa, just to like be on a vacation for 6 months and just go back, that's fine. But at least US literally should be like, hey, listen, the world, we are not issuing any immigrant visa. End of the story. You think if this was the rule in 2024, I would ever come? I would have ever come? No, that's my point. You hate immigrants and then issuing the visa as well.
Nobody
like,
says you hate immigrants, but see what you're missing is this. By the way, just to let you know, I know a lot of friends of mine who left India, came to US, and their kids get cards in India.
I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
So Aadhaar card, for those who don't know, Aadhaar card is like similar to Social Security in the US. And India is not even allowing people of, mom and dad, both of Indian origin. In the US, we don't want to give that person benefits. Therefore, we're not issuing them because they're an NRI. We're not giving them an Aadhaar card. So India itself.
I'll tell you.
Hold on. If India itself is willing to say, I don't want to give someone on foreign land these kinds of benefits, why are you demanding a foreign country to say, hey, let me...
See, I'll tell you, when a student comes, so like, I'll tell you, when I came here, I paid $50,000 for, I'm not saying that US owes me something, I'm just telling you, like, immigrants, I don't know about illegal immigrants again, but I am not a burden on US economy. You know why? Because I paid $50,000 for my MBA, then I paid my everything, my living expenses and everything, and I paid $800 every semester for my insurance. I haven't, so like we had to pay $250 every 6 months for my pantry, and the pantry food for so shit that I still had to pay $250 because it's no exception, but I never used the pantry food, So like, I don't know, like, how am I burden on US government? In fact, when I worked on campus for 20 hours a week, I was paying taxes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's what the rule of the land is. I have American friends, white friends, who went and got it. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Speech on behalf of the country. Are you the governor? You are the president in front of it.
Okay. I have no idea what he's saying.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Peter. I'm so sorry.
You are not the president.
Me?
You are not the government.
Me? You're talking to me, Peter?
Yes, he's talking to you.
Talking to King.
I'm sorry, Peter. Of course, I'm not a government. Of course, I'm not a
One
president.
second. Hold on. So what we need to do, guys, is hold on. He's talking to King. That's what he's talking to. But King, one of the things that we all have to do and be very careful, someone who's coming to the United States legally and doing it correctly, because we do allow 1.2 million people to come to the United States every single year legally. Okay. What we have to do is be careful that we don't throw everybody into the same bucket. Okay. I agree, Joe. I think a lot of times what we like to do is we miss out on the fact that she's explained to you that she pays her own way, she's doing her own thing. And another thing, one thing I don't want you to ever do is don't disclose who you're dating, who you're not dating. You're dating a man. Just be happy that you have a relationship with someone.
So Edward, hold on, Edward.
No,
Edward, I have a couple.
Let me finish.
I was talking earlier, and then okay. Anyway, go on.
Well, I didn't cut you off, so
yeah.
But all I'm saying is this: as an American, one born on the soil, I do like the fact that people come legally. I have a challenge when people come overstay their visa or they came here illegally, because we even got Americans now supporting illegal behavior because they don't believe that we are a country of laws. That's the difference. And I respect someone who chose to come that way. Go ahead, King.
Yeah. So it's a couple of things that, Edward, to be clear, right? I'm not saying that, she's saying she paid. Well, yeah, you have to pay your way, right? You have to pay your tax. You have to do all this stuff. But just because you came here on a student visa doesn't mean that you have the right to get a job and that they have to hire you.
Okay,
just because you did. Hey, hold on. I'm not done. Like,
okay,
you let him talk. You didn't interrupt because he was saying something maybe positive or whatever. So but not fair for you to say, hey, because I'm here, I'm working hard. What about the American citizen who's working his butt off at McDonald's and Taco Bell that would love to have that $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year job that you're now going to take from them?
But they're not educated enough. Americans are not even undergrad.
Oh, there you go, guys. That's what I've been waiting for her to say. Barack Obama's comment.
And that's even
Barack
okay.
Obama's famous comment. Hold on, guys.
Hold on,
Barack
no,
Obama's
King, 1 second,
famous
King.
Dude, I'm not done. Oh my God. All right, Ed, go on, Edward, go on. Why does everyone interrupt?
No, I'm not interrupting you, King. But Peter, 1 second, Peter. 1 second,
We
Peter.
should have let him finish.
No, okay, King, you want to go ahead and finish it? I just want to raise something up. So go ahead.
Well, bro, she made a good point. Like, if the person isn't qualified, they're not qualified.
Let King go. Let King go.
I think his connection is bad. I think that's why.
Yeah. What she's saying is illogical.
Say, King, are you back, King?
To this
Are you back, King?
millions of Americans.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you now. Go ahead, King. Finish.
I'm in a parking garage. So there's a famous statement by Barack Obama, which I've told Joe and other people many times. He said, the reason we need to bring in immigrants is because Americans just aren't capable. Well, are Americans afforded the opportunity? Hey, let me tell you this. There's a website, which I'm sure you've heard of, called
King, I'm sorry, but you're breaking up. I'm sorry.
Which did training to people that don't.
Can you repeat it? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hey, you're lying.
Then go back. You broke up a bit. Go back. Yeah, just go back. It's called what?
You listening now? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, you sound better. It's called what? Go back to that and then go from there.
Okay. So there's that.
That's a good point.
Oh shit, we can't hear nothing now, King.
No, stop trolling him, King. We can hear you fine.
I can't hear him at all. I can't hear him. King, I couldn't hear you.
Edward,
Please
stop
repeat
trolling.
it,
King, everybody
I'm not
heard.
trolling. Stop. No, stop. Florida, stop.
You didn't hear what he
Please
said.
repeat, King.
Okay.
Please repeat, King.
What are you,
All right,
deaf?
King, gotta repeat it. Go.
Okay. So I'm saying there's a website called Suleika.com. Okay. This website was a site created by Indians. And basically what it does is it provides training to the training it provides is to Indian Americans or other, well, not Indian Americans, but Indians that are in this country, teaching them different skill sets and helping them get placed in jobs. And what they do is they place you, they'll say like, okay, we're going to treat you IT consulting, or we're going to teach you QA, QC. And they train those people. But when Americans go to get trained on it, they say, oh, we won't bring you on. Why? Because then we got to give you health care. We got to give you all those things. But if I bring an Indian who's doing on a student visa, I can say, hey, I'll sponsor you H1. It's basically slavery. I'll sponsor you on an H1. I'll give you whatever amount of, I'll pay you $30 an hour, right? No health care. And I'll give you an H1. You're grateful for it. And so you're going to work with me on it. And I've talked to those people because I know the people that run those trainings. Okay. And actually my parents are of the same descent as the people who run those sites. So I know the people who run it. And they said, yeah, if we hire an American, we got to give him health care. Why would we hire an American and train when we can hire an Indian, pay him cheap, and they're on F1 and they're desperate for a visa, and we could bring them on and we could train them and do it. So it's not that Indians come in naturally smart, able to do these jobs. They're afforded opportunities to do these jobs that others aren't afforded to, simply because the cost of an American is so expensive, because we want health care, we want benefits, and we want all that stuff. So don't say that Americans aren't capable. If you give Americans a chance, many of them can exceed. Many of them are educated and can surpass probably what most people can do, but they're just not given the chance. And the 44th president made a comment saying Americans aren't capable. Maybe some aren't, but many are.
Yeah, I don't think it's an either or
Can I
thing.
say something, guys, now?
Yeah, go ahead.
King, I literally understand your point. I swear, I totally get it. But the point is, as per me, since I've come to this country, okay, first I need to tell you guys what F1 visa is, okay? So you get like 2 years of study in a university, and especially US only allows immigrants who are willing to do a STEM course. Okay, now STEM stands for science, technology, engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, King, let me complete, please. If you are a STEM student, you get 3 years of visa. Sorry, 5 years of visa. And if you're not a STEM student, then you can just study for 2 years in this country, go for 1 year of OPT, and then go back home. But if you choose to study a STEM degree, you have a 5 year of visa, 2 years of studies, 1 year of OPT, and then 2 years of STEM OPT, right?
It's actually
and then
two years of OPT.
No, 1 year of OPT.
It's 24 months.
No, listen to me. Yeah, you can please do look it up.
It's part of my job.
Let her land, bro. Let her land.
1 year of OPT and 2 years of STEM OPT if you are doing a STEM. Please look it up.
You get an extra extension for 24 months. What are you talking about? So it's 12 months and then another 12 months. So that's two.
So no, like 1 year is for OPT and 2 years is for STEM OPT extension.
All right, go on. Let her go on, bro.
Okay, so the total visa is for 5 years. Now, in those last 3 years, once you're done with your degree, if an employer is willing to sponsor you, you get to stay in this country for 3 more years. If they are not willing to sponsor you, just go back.
Yeah.
Now, my point is, unfortunately, I fucking wish India was as open as US so that everybody could get the same opportunity in India, because the competition is so high. Everybody's graduated, everybody's having PhDs, everybody is having masters, and they just want to get out of the country because the country doesn't care enough for our people, which is sad. And this is why all the Indians or the other immigrants have to go to Europe, UK, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and all. And now some people land up in US just like me. And I get it. Like, so now my point is, like, King, you were just saying, like, okay, so now that we immigrants come here and then we take up the jobs for the US citizens. And I'm sorry, King, please don't take it wrong. If I am 2 masters and I have a technical degree in STEM finance, right? And if a US citizen, okay, is also having a finance STEM or 2 masters or even not a degree, just like technical skills, of course they're gonna get hired. And I will not get hired. You know why? Because they have much more skills than me and much more experience than me. And it's no wrong in that. And I'm not saying that US fucking owes us to give us a job. No, yes, and I know you guys won't agree.
Problem for immigrants, not only US.
And I get it, like you. So right
this
now,
is a problem for all immigrants.
yeah, so like companies were actually hiring for immigrants, but now the government, which is also okay for the organizations, because they're scared to invest in an employee. And they do not want to invest in an employee whose visa status is not even constant. Someday they can get an H-1B, someday they can just get the kick out of the country. So they don't want to invest in an immigrant, right? Which is fine. But my point is, if an American citizen is having 2 masters, 1 master's, and an undergrad, and I am also competing for the same job, whoever has the more skill will get the job. And please don't, so like this, Sulekha,
That
whatever
wasn't your
you're
original
saying.
complaint, right? You were just saying it's hard, right?
That is not your truth.
It's really hard. Look, I get it.
He raised a good point. He raised a good point, and it's a true point, right? About
Yes, he did. But I feel like it's not even easy for immigrants. It's hard as well.
I thought you landed. So 2 things can be true. Two things can be true. 2 things can be true at the same time. Because on one hand, yes, highly educated, because they are highly educated immigrants are coming in here getting visas, and they are undercutting Americans that want the benefits, right? But also, if you've ever been to graduate school, like I have twice, damn, most of the freaking graduate schools are full of freaking immigrants, right? You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality. Americans, we're not competitive educationally because our universities are amazing, but our K through 12 schools are trash. They're just not good, and we're not competing, especially in the STEM fields, which is why corporations were looking across the border, which is why we were so attractive.
Exactly.
And so we gotta fight with that. Also, we also took away workers' teeth, right? We said unions, bad, fight on your own, right? Fight on your own. Instead of collectively, fight on your own. And then we get corporations saying, we have the upper hand, and we can slap you around, which is why they're allowed to do stuff like this.
Thank you.
I'd like to speak
I would just want to add one last thing. As an immigrant,
I was after Mister. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions, actually.
Are you currently here on an F1?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I am.
You are. How many years of eligibility do you have?
3 years only if I get a job. Otherwise, I have to go back, which is fine.
Okay.
Now
Are you
you're
seeking,
freaking out,
wait,
right? Yeah.
are you interested or like? Wait? Do you want to like end the? Do you want to get U.S. citizenship at the end of this? Is
But
that your goal?
Yes, but I know for sure that I would not be even able to get a green card, and which is fine.
Okay. Well, wait. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Is that you in your PTR?
PTR.
Is that you in
Shoot
your
your
PTR?
shot.
Picture?
Is that you in your photo?
Yes.
You want a green card?
Do you want to move to Dallas, Texas? There's a lot of Indians in this area.
Oh my
already.
God.
Oh God! So now it's turning into roasting and bullying. Okay.
No. He's saying get married, get a green card.
He's just trying
Perfect
to hit on.
example. There's no assimilation. She don't get the jokes because she don't belong here.
Hold on. I gotta say something.
For me to understand
Hold on.
the accent.
Hold on.
Then go home.
Guys, leave her alone.
I will go home. Don't say
Guys, leave her alone. Guys, leave her alone, guys.
They're just teasing you.
Let me just
But I'm not
ask.
teasing them.
Can I just want to ask her something, because you said everyone talked about our capability. Just remember,
You guys suck.
majority of the immigrants who come from India and other countries and have these 2 master's degrees don't end up working in the 2 master's degrees or jobs that require the 2 master's degrees. They get jobs as Java developer, QA tester. They get those jobs initially because that's how they get their visa. Then they build themselves up and go into the larger jobs. So what I'm saying is, give me
my
that.
visa doesn't allow me to work anything other than financial analyst, business analyst, data analyst, or treasury analyst.
Exactly.
That's the need of my visa, guys. See,
He's trying to make the argument that you came here under lesser circumstances.
No,
Get yourself up in America.
That's not what I said at all.
Okay, I'll let you clarify. I'll let you clarify.
King, I don't understand why you think you're better than them.
Community of Indians
that's
who
not what I
work in your
said.
field
So
that
can-
will be able to help you get connections
Okay, can I
within
finish?
your area
I
of
don't
study,
want
within
to.
your area
No,
of
I don't want
education.
to go.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't want to take any
Florida, you have no
illegal
idea about
route,
this
bro.
process.
I don't want to take any illegal route that
Correct.
Indians
So
take.
just to be clear,
stay in this country.
just to be clear, go and look at Google online business analyst training. Okay, you'll find a bunch of Indian consulting companies that train people to be business and financial analysts. Okay, including a company called SVAN. Okay, they actually do shady stuff like training. They'll do the interview for you. They'll do other
Yes,
things
and I
like
don't
that.
want to do that. It's
No, but
scary.
hold on. But 60 to 70% of the people come in this country. I'm not saying you are, to be clear. Okay? So the problem is that when people are doing those things, and you just admitted, yes, they do that. They do the interview for you, throw you in the job. Do you realize that they don't give those opportunities to white people? They don't give those opportunities to people who are here. Why? Because if I give them, they can ask me for medical insurance. They're going to ask me for other stuff. I'd rather bring an Indian who can
insurance.
who can make it. No,
Just because you don't want to do it, don't say it doesn't happen.
So the fact is that it happens, and what they do is they cheat these people, and they're basically treating them like they're treating immigrants for free. But hold on. Those opportunities are not available for Americans.
But King, why is that the immigrants' fault?
Can I hold on? Can I finish, Finley? Can I finish? So the point is that
it's not the immigrants' fault.
can I
That's the
finish?
point, bro.
Matthew, can I finish?
Well, what's your point, bro?
So the point is that opportunity is not available to you today, Matthew, to build yourself up.
That's not her fucking.
No one said it's her problem.
Well, he's not American
God, you're an
anyway,
idiot.
so.
No one's talking about
But we're talking about her.
No one's talking about you in this problem.
I know you're talking about.
She's more American than
I'm saying
Matthew.
about the process.
But I don't understand. I'm sorry, King, but I don't understand. Okay, American citizens, no matter what race you are, you can literally study and work. You get your studies completed. You can work in any country you want. Because you are a citizen,
That's not
which is
true.
good. You are lucky.
Not in any country. That's not true.
No, I'm saying. I'm sorry.
We do have
You can work in any field, Like I'm just saying that.
So can you? By the way, you could be a paanwala. You could be a chaiwala. You could do whatever you want. You just don't want to do those jobs.
That's the whole point, King. I do have a mass. And stuff. This is why I came to this country.
Wait.
We do have a
Hold on, guys. Do you see what she just did? She's saying that Americans can work at McDonald's and Taco Bell, but she doesn't want to be a roadside. She doesn't want to be a roadside vendor.
Listen to me.
But the reality is,
No.
but the reality is,
Listen, if an immigrant comes to this country, they are only allowed to work on campus. Now, on campus, if there are enough jobs, the only way they can get a job is if they're
But you're saying
right?
the benefit of being Americans is that they can work anywhere. That's what you said.
no, she's saying she's limited.
No. I wish I was able to work at Taco
Mr.
Bell,
Finley gets
McDonald's,
it.
Burger King, so that at least I could work 40 hours a week and pay my own rent, and my parents didn't have to pay for my shit. That's what I'm saying. Americans are so lucky, bro. Come on, I don't hate any. Even if I go to India, I will always tell everybody America was so great, and I couldn't make it. Simple.
Wait. She raises.
But in India,
she raises a good point.
In India, if I want to work wait. In India, if I want to work in a Burger King,
I'm not fighting you.
That's not true.
What I'm saying.
You can work as a chaiwala and a panwala.
Hold on, King.
Just don't want
Hold on, King. You got your. You made your point.
Respond. Yeah.
What do you know about how India works?
So listen. She raises a good point, and the thing the issue that I've always had with us and immigrants is that we blame the immigrants for coming here to work.
No one.
Right?
Give us visas, bro.
Let me finish. I'm on your side, young lady. I'm on your side. We blame the immigrants for coming here to work. It is not her fault. It is not Indians' fault that the greedy corporations are undercutting us to pay them less. That's not our fault. That is our fault.
Okay.
Right? That's our fault that we allowed to happen.
So
I'm not mad. I am not mad that an immigrant comes here to working and undercuts my. I'm not mad at them. They're trying to feed their family just like I am. Right? That's not their fault. But why do we get mad at them? That's what I want to know.
Can I explain to you now? Okay. So
I'd love to know why you're mad at them.
Let me explain to you, and this will easily make sense. There's people who take advantage. There's people who take advantage of the process. I'm not saying I is. To be clear, before you guys start trying to accuse, it's not her fault. No one's saying it's her fault. She's probably one of the very good ones. Okay.
She sounds like a great.
60 to
in fact, she sounds.
There's a few of us in the chat saying it's her fault.
Oh God, can Florida just shut the fuck up, dude? Okay, so if you take 60% of them, they come here knowing, okay, you know what, I can easily get a job in the U.S. versus getting a job here. So I'm going to immigrate to America and get that job, but it may not be in my exact area of study. But hey, I can get an opportunity there. But what the problem I'm saying is you're applying for an opportunity that others don't apply. And by the way, Finley, just to let you know, the companies that are doing this, that are doing the training and giving them the jobs, are not American companies. They're run by Indians who come to America and say, "Holy shit, I can bill Accenture, I can bill Google, I can bill them by giving them a $30 an hour." Hold on, I'm not done. Hold on, I'm not done. So they can give $30 an hour. They can say, "Hey, I'm going to pay this lady $30 an hour." Wow, I worked at one Publishers Clearinghouse, and they actually I was in the IT, I was at program management. They brought this guy named Ayappan in from South India. The guy was so excited. He came to me, he goes, "Naveen, I'm here." He's a senior developer. He was getting $24 an hour. He said, "Naveen, I'm getting $24 an hour. It's amazing. 24 by 70. Look at how much I'm making." I said, "Dude, you're converting it to rupees. You can't make any money here in US on like you can." He goes, "No, they're putting 3 of our families in a 1-bedroom apartment." I come every weekend. He takes me to get. He takes us to get in. I'm not done. I didn't cut you. I didn't cut you. They provide him a car. They go pick up food. They say, "Oh, I go to Patel Brothers." The car from Patel Brothers and does it. So the whole point is the fact that Americans aren't willing to work for less money because we don't want to take a pay cut. What sounds like what Finley is saying is, hey, Americans, be willing to work for less money.
That's not what I'm saying.
No healthcare.
That's not what I'm saying. No, don't do that.
No healthcare.
Absolutely not what I'm saying.
So
don't you dare.
Trump
and
and Tom. So Trump and Tom.
So
Trump and Tom. I'm not done. So Trump and Tom Cotton proposed something that every Democrat was against, where they said raise the pay limit for all positions, including H-1B, to 100,000.
Yeah,
you know what? Honestly,
and guess what?
I feel like all the immigrant visas should be fucking cancelled, and we should all be sent back to our country.
Because visa is a privilege, not the right.
Donald Trump is a warlock.
I'm gonna start dumping people.
I'm dumping people now. All right, King, did you finish? You got to let King finish.
Yeah. So Tom Cotton and Donald Trump proposed in the first term a executive order that raised the limit, saying 100,000 is what you should pay the salary for these people. The companies went nuts. All the small Indian consulting companies, 60% of them went out of business. Trump left. That executive order was rescinded, and boom, the staffing went up. The H1s went up. The F1s went up. It went nuts because they were like, okay, we can bring in these people, and again, pay them 25 or 30, right? Bring them into the country, even for a short term or long term, or bring them on F1 and hire them because they're desperate to stay here. And these companies are taking advantage, but they're not companies like Google that are American companies. They're not those companies that are doing it in Finland. These are Indian consulting companies that are called tier 2 consultants that basically hire those people and say, I want you to basically say, you're my slave. I'm going to get you this position. I'm going to pay you $30 an hour, and you're going to work for me. I own your visa.
Wait, can
you're
you
my
take
bitch.
it easy?
You're
I guess, yeah, I'm their bitch, whatever. But can you take it easy?
I didn't say you.
Getting out of breath.
But I
No,
didn't
I
say you.
get it.
I
What's
know.
the difference?
I get your point. Please relax. Just take
He
it easy.
doesn't
You're getting
need
out
your
of breath.
help in telling him how the fuck to speak, woman.
Hey, listen, Adams. You and I are cool, but don't you talk.
She can barely understand English vernacular, so she doesn't need to be telling him how to speak.
She speaks very fluent, very.
And he's also Harvard fucking educated. He's also Harvard educated.
Relax. Yes, I'm hardly educated. I'm illiterate, but he's getting out of breath. I want him to relax. What's wrong with that?
Perhaps you should shut up and stop interrupting him.
I love her.
Oh my God.
King, what you're saying is because I find it crazy that the president wanted to write an executive order to mandate a minimum wage. Did you say?
No, he said foreign. Hold on. He said people on visas should get an equivalent wage to what the economic for that
minimum
person.
wage.
No,
a
it's not a
minimum
minimum
wage.
wage. No.
Oh, this is $100,000. Didn't you say that should be the wage?
No. So he's saying actually read the whole. I recommend you read the executive order. So in it he says, hey, if you take a senior IT developer and you do the market research and you figure out what someone would be paid who's a U.S. citizen, right? It may be 100,000 in that particular area.
He's setting a floor for the wage. Right? I get it. Whether or not you don't want to call it a minimum wage or not, that's what it is.
For immigrants.
But that we literally like unions literally do the same thing. Right?
What?
Unions do the same thing. They say, listen, we should be paid X amount of wage, right? This should be the minimum that we should get for this job. Right? They do the exact same thing. There's not a difference.
This is the
principle.
Okay, so what was the principle?
Let me finish. I'll let you finish.
Did you read the EO?
Let me finish. I don't need to read the EO to understand the principle.
Qualifications. It's based on qualifications.
Unions do the same thing. You can't just walk in the day on store.
Unions are not based on qualifications. It's based on. Hey, we're in the union. You have
to have a basic the qualifications to get the job. Absolutely.
He's right.
Right, and so unions are saying, we're worth this much. You need to pay us this much. Stop shortchanging us. That's the same thing that you're telling the India firm to do, right? Which makes the job more fair, right, and competitive, right? But what you're saying, but now you're saying because all they're doing is practicing capitalism. If I can get the labor for cheaper there, that's what they do. That's literally what capitalists do. Why would I pay more if I don't have to? But unions again.
So you're supporting capitalism in that. You think that's the right approach?
Listen,
I'm not.
I don't. Let me. If you allow me to respond and finish my statement, because you're putting words in my mouth that are false. I am saying that's what capitalism does. I didn't say I support that. I'm giving a statement of fact. Now I will give you my position. I am very pro-union, because I think capitalists are very greedy, and I think that they're hyper unfair to labor, and so that's why I'm pro-union. I'm not saying unions are perfect. I'm not saying they're perfect, but I'm very pro-union. Very
immigration and stops people from hiring them because the view is, well, if I'm going to have to pay that much anyway, why would I hire an immigrant when I can hire an American? Visas, but that's okay because they're hiring Americans and they're paying them what market value would be. In other words, they also said in it, you have to provide benefits to those people. That's what Trump said. You have to provide benefits to those people. Well, what happened? Companies decided, you know what, screw this. If I'm going to pay that much money, Why would I hire an immigrant when I can hire an American citizen for the same amount and not have to deal with paying the fees for the visa? I'd rather just hire an American citizen. Hey,
the visa's always cheaper. The visa's always cheaper. Always. The visa's always cheaper.
Why is the visa always cheaper? If I
gotta pay, even if I gotta pay $100,000 and $100,000 for the visa over the course of time they're working there, the benefits, because benefits can sometimes be 40,
right? But you have to
30-40%. That's all. 30-40% on top of the salary per year.
By the way, it's total. And by the way, it's total comp. So you read the executive order. That's why I asked you if you read it. It's total comp, which includes what they're getting paid in shares, what they're getting paid, and all that stuff. So they have to offer a total comp package.
Right, so hold on. Look, I think this is a really big point that we just need to slow it down because y'all are talking real fast, so everyone understands what just was said. King's outlined that there was a greater incentive for businesses to hire immigrants, and it was not what they lied about in saying Americans were not qualified. The government had created a system where the expense of hiring the American, it cost them more than hiring an immigrant. And now Trump has come along to try and correct that. Is that accurate?
If we were in a unionized environment, he wouldn't have to correct it because we'd be pro-union. We'd have more unionized shops. And the unions would collectively...
What does that even mean?
It means that the unions would have collectively bargained and then you couldn't undercut them.
No, listen, wish in one hand and shit in the other. Which one do you think is going to fill up that?
I'm just telling you that as a pilot, they can't undercut my salary because I'm in a union. We all got to get paid. We all got to get paid when we get paid.
Joe, let Finley cook.
They do have immigrants in my field, Joe, and they have to pay them what I get paid. Right. They can't undercut us.
So Finley, it's interesting. Finley said something here, Joe, that I think is very important. In his industry, they're forced to hire people based on qualifications. I have if you're hiring immigrants based on qualifications, it's a fair one-on-one look saying, hey, I compared these two and based on skill set, I'm hiring this person. And if the salaries are equivalent or not or whatever. But when you're making decisions solely based on I can get this guy for cheap or I can make this guy work 24/7, and I can pimp him out and I can pay him a lot less.
No, King, that's not.
But King, that's how most non-union companies work anyway, though, King.
For a corporate job like a finance tech, data analyst, and all, especially when you're competing or going for all the American companies, they actually treat you like an equal employee. What are you saying?
No, we're talking about
we definitely cannot say they're less qualified because they're way more educated on average. Way more educated.
So Finley, just to be clear, okay? Take the large companies, and I can prove it to you. I can name you the executives of the companies, and I can bring them on here to talk to you. Google, Amazon. Hold on, I'm not done.
Wait. Are you on LinkedIn? Sorry.
No, Workday. I can mention WeWork, and I can bring the executives on here. And what they've told me, their exact
words. An executive back in India.
I am not done.
Okay, go to LinkedIn, search my name. My name is YASTIKA Sharma. Okay, and I just applied to a company, communication specialist wiring. It's in San Diego, California. It's an American company. Interviewed me, but they did not hire me because I don't have my EAD card yet.
Joe, can I finish or not? Am I going to become it's ridiculous?
Look, what two of you, just King and I try to actually just have a conversation one-on-one.
If you take Florida. Anyway, so the point here is I think people don't understand this whole issue, okay? Is again, if you put people on equal playing field, most of the time companies would choose to hire Americans. If you put them on, hey, you know what, this guy will work for $10,000 or $20,000 less, then obviously and by the way, that's true with Americans too. If I'm hiring someone to work for me American, and I have two guys that are equal, I'm going to take the lower person. The issue is that Indians tend to be in that position initially. Now, when they grow up, they grow high. Like, look at Satya Nadella. Read his story. He put a whole YouTube video on it. He says, I started off as a consultant. I was way underpaid, but I moved up the ranks over the years. Well, the door was opened for him because he had an opportunity to go in to consulting and do that. But Americans didn't get the door open. They have to show that they're highly qualified to get in, and the door is not open for them. And so because the door wasn't open for them, they don't have that chance to do it. So they still got to compete. They still got to get the second and third level degrees. They still got to do all that stuff. But they're not competing at the top level.
Doesn't need to do anything.
Okay, sorry,
He's
you
an
go on.
electrical
You go on.
engineering.
You go on.
I'm sorry, my boyfriend is an electrical engineer. He's
Good.
studying. He's working in like McDonald's. He's getting his serial license. It's just free to
Notice
work
how
wherever he
she's
wants.
comparing McDonald's. Notice how she's comparing
No,
McDonald's
I'm
to
saying-
high-paying jobs.
She's illustrating the fact that he's working his way up.
If he
But
has to wait. If he has to finish his electrical engineering, there's no way he can work 40 hours a week because he has to finish his studies. He has to focus on his studies. You know?
With respect, I'm sympathetic to what you have to say, but King was not finished, and I really wanted to hear the end of that, if you don't mind. Go ahead.
So the point is that you take these large companies. If people want to get jobs in these big companies, Google, Microsoft, all this stuff, you got to know someone. If you're an American, you got to know. And for most people, even Indians too, you got to know someone. You got to do it. But I know these executives, and I've talked to them, and I could bring them on here, and I mingle with them. In fact, I'm in San Diego right now, going to a conference where I'm going to meet some of these people. And and they tell me, we hire these people. We look for people that are Indian. Okay, that's what they say. We look for people who are Indian because we know we can get them lower than what we'd have to pay in America. We also don't have to give them stock share and all that. Then I asked them questions. What about Satya Nadella or Sundar Pichai and stuff? They said, well, yeah, they worked themselves up. Then obviously they earned the right to be there. I said, well, why wouldn't you hire an American? Because they're going to demand that stuff right away. And so we hire. It's capitalism.
Is this for a STEM field job? Are these STEM field jobs?
These are all IT related and STEM field jobs. Yes.
But to be clear, the Indians are qualified, and if you're going to go qualification for qualification, you know they're going to outperform us.
So
they are way more educated than we are.
Hold on.
So Finley, how can you make a blanket
statement? How can you make a blanket statement like that, Finley?
Because
I know many Indians that drive cabs. Are you saying they're more qualified to drive cabs than us?
I'm speaking in generalities.
So Finley believes, so Joe, Finley believes that
respectfully,
Indians are more qualified to drive a cab.
you're not going to do that. I'm not going to allow you. No, what you're doing is you're taking a sentence out of my paragraph and you're creating a whole new paragraph. Don't do that. I don't like when people do that.
So respectfully,
don't do that.
So
are
they
generally
qualified?
speaking, I didn't say all. Who says all? I speak in generalities. If I say Florida's hot, right, a hot state, right, you're gonna say no. In January they have 5 days of cold weather. Does that mean Florida's not a hot state? That's what you're doing. I'm speaking in generalities. Right? Don't do that. Don't do that. To make a point, you're an intelligent guy. You don't have to misconstrue what I say. You don't have to mischaracterize or misconstrue what I say to make a point.
Will you agree that there are Americans?
Let me finish. You demand that he move her out of the way to make your point. I'm demanding that you move out of the way so I can finish my point.
Well,
right?
When I wasn't done, you cut me off. So
I didn't cut you off. I absolutely let you land.
Well, no, I didn't land yet, and then you
did land.
No, in the middle you used, well, no, that's not true. Americans are like that.
King, I let this quiet, and then I started talking. Right?
You go on. You're gonna bitch and moan.
And so my point. You can all that. My point is that we can't have it both ways. But I was making a general statement that on average they are more educated than us. Absolutely. She's coming from a country. It is true. She's a third of America. Only a third of Americans have a freaking 4-year degree or better. Only a third. Okay. I guarantee you that number is higher for Indians. Right?
Well,
that are coming here. That's math. What are you talking about? No. If a third is a third. That is a per capita number.
So a third of a larger population is obviously more.
A third is a third. That is a per capita number. if there are 1,000 Indians and there are 10,000 freaking Americans, and I say 10%, right? That's a per capita number. I didn't give a number, right? And so we're making excuses. The reality is Americans, we're not as educated as our immigrant counterparts because the people that we let in, specifically people from across the water, have to be either have money or education. They have to have some kind of merit to even get in our freaking country. And so I can't knock them for that. I have to say we got to work harder, right? We got to freaking work harder, and we don't want to. We want to blame the immigrant.
Hold on, family. That's not true at all. They let millions of Americans.
So it's not true that some Americans don't want to. Joe,
I'm speaking specifically across the water, Joe. I'm not talking about across the southern border. I'm talking about across the water.
There you go. Look at that. Notice how he then goes and says.
I am very specific. I choose my words carefully.
You just said generalities. Now you're saying you're specific. Okay. Anyway, so
you're doing that. You're doing that dishonest thing. You're doing that dishonest thing. King, don't do that. Don't do that dishonest thing.
I speak in generalities. Wait, I'm actually specific.
But you're being dishonest. You're being dishonest.
But that's what you said. I'm quoting you.
No, you're taking.
Joe, am I saying anything wrong?
I just said it earlier. I said what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a sentence out of my paragraph and then create a whole new paragraph. That's what you're doing.
Create one.
Yes, you did.
Your words were I.
Give me the full context of my words, then, King. Give me the full context of my words, then.
You say You said I speak in generalities and I speak in specifics.
Give me the full context of the statements, sir.
You responded to Joe saying I'm being very
specific. Give me the full context. Give me the full context of the statement.
You said you're speaking in
generality. In what context did I say I'm speaking in generality? Go ahead.
About whatever you were talking about.
Exactly, because you're taking it out of context. Keep it in context. Okay. When you take it out of context, deliberately, you're being dishonest. Don't be dishonest.
That you're taking out of your ass both sides. So anyway, so the emphasis by saying this is what I heard Finley say, okay? I heard Finley say Americans aren't capable, okay, of doing these jobs, okay? And that
Finley didn't say that.
I'm not. I just told you what I heard you say. Can you hear properly?
Then you're not listening.
So why? I'm not allowed to have my own opinion on what you said.
You can have your own opinion about anything.
I also heard you say. Well, I am being honest in what I heard.
You're being dishonest. You're being deliberately dishonest.
You speak in generalities, and I accept that. Now you're also twisting what you said to trying to clarify.
I'm not twisting anything. You're the one that's twisting to make.
So let me tell you what I feel.
That's just dishonest.
So how do you know how I feel?
I'm telling you, you're being dishonest.
So how do you know how I feel?
Based on your,
I'll wait for you to give me evidence. Did you read my mind?
I am telling you, you're being dishonest.
So shut the fuck up and let me.
I'm telling you, you're being dishonest.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you how I feel.
The aggression isn't necessary.
If you disagree, then you can explain it after. So here's what I feel you said, that Americans aren't capable because 10% of Indians who come into America, you believe are more educated. This is your belief, that they're more educated than 10% of Americans who are in this country, who are going to, or maybe you just meant the entire population of Americans and the 10% that are coming in, which wouldn't be a fair comparison. But you're saying that they're more qualified, and you know what? You may be right. There's a lot of Indians that come in here with high degrees. And also there's scandals where Indians came into this country showing degrees. Look it up online. I'm sure you won't because you're not an honest person. Where Indians faked degrees coming in on their H-1, saying that they went to Andhra, Jyoti, superb university in southern Chennai and put it on their application. And companies brought them in and faked the degree on it so that they could get an EB-2 visa. And they came into the country. But in reality, they're not educated, but no one was able to vet them because the U.S. government can't do it. You won't mention that because you're dishonest on it. And so then they fake that. Well, if Americans have the opportunity to fake their degrees and get better jobs, maybe they would succeed. But they don't. Why? Because they get
Americans do fake their degrees.
Really? Americans fake their degrees?
Yes,
so E-Verify. So E-Verify. Let's look at the E-Verify stats on that. Oh, now you.
Americans absolutely fake their freaking degrees. What is this E-Verify you're talking about? Americans don't lie on their resumes? We don't lie to resumes. Not only Indians do it to get over there. Americans don't lie to resumes.
Someone who doesn't know about even employment process. He verifies you to verify background checks. I am telling you. I am telling you. Employment process. I am telling you. And you cut me off again, which you said. I am telling you that. I'm telling you that Americans lying for the resume.
He
just cut me off again. No, I didn't say about lying on resume. Notice what he just did, guys. I'm very specific in what I say, guys. That Americans don't lie about their degrees. He switched it to resumes. Notice why. Don't do that, Finley. Don't do that. Now you're being dishonest. I never said
they lie about having degrees. Same difference.
So no, it's not, because when they can get caught easily that you don't have a degree, because they didn't make an American employer here is not going to call Andhra Jyoti University in the middle of, and I know because I worked for them, like Accenture and other companies, and they said, who the hell's going to call some village in India? First of all, I don't even know if they speak English to vet their university, to vet their credentials. I said, oh, I can't bring the degree. And the fact is they don't realize that I'm one of them. And they'll be speaking in their language, and they'll say, and I'm like, dude, I understand what you're saying. Oh, shit, I thought your family's from South and you don't know Hindi. I was like, yeah, well, get the fuck out of here. And they're like, okay. And they do it. So the level for which they do it is a lot. Now, are there Americans that probably say, yeah, I have a degree and apply for the job? Sure. But but will they get caught? Yes. Will Indians get caught? Mostly, I would say about 95% no, except for the ones that are applying for a visa, lying about their job, about their degree. Then they get caught because the U.S. government says, provide me a copy of your degree. And now it's like, oh, shit. And they provide a copy of it. And then the Indian embassy says, hey, that place doesn't exist. You're out. And that's what happened with some universities. Look it up, okay? That were issuing fake degrees for F1 visas and for other people, allowing those people to get, and they all got jobs, H1s, and then that university turns out, F1 issuing fake F1 visa, issuing admissions and then fake degrees to Indians so they can get good jobs. That's the scam.
So they can get visas with fake degrees. Is what you're saying? That's what you're saying? Because you also said that they would get vetted when they got the visas. So which is it? I'm asking a clarifying question.
Can I get a chance when there's a chance?
Yeah, I'll just respond like this. This idea, he's creating his narrative that there's all this fraud going on with Indians. That's what the narrative that he's creating. I didn't even talk about fraud. And then I basically responded that America's lying their resume because it is an equivalent fraud about lying about their credentials. That's not lying about on your resume about your degree is the same thing. Americans do it.
One gives you a visa.
Lying about a degree on a resume is the same this type of dishonest fraud. It's lying about your credentials to get here. It's the same type of thing. Americans do the same freaking thing, right? That's my point. Because you're trying to create this narrative that they're being dishonest in gaming the system. They're being dishonest in gaming the system, right? And I'm telling you, the net net of what I'm saying is the net net of what I'm saying is stop with the unnecessary try. Stop it. But I'm going to finish my point. I'm going to finish my point because what you're trying to do is you're trying to throw me off my point because I'm dissecting your point. The net of it is the two pieces. Number one, we love capitalism until it does not benefit us, right? And so that's number one. Number two, you're trying to make it seem as if they're gaming the system, right? They're not gaming the system. They're taking advantage of getting away just like we do, right? We say union bad, minimum wage bad. These things are bad. They're all bad, right? That's what this is the argument that we make in this country, right? Until it us. Then, we should have did that. That's the net of what I'm trying to say. And the reason I have to bring up their fraud, and the reason.
Hold on. Okay. Look, we're going to bring in some new voices. Look, it's not really capitalism. Okay, who keeps bringing them up? Okay. Look, it's not really capitalism when you're dealing with employment laws. Employment laws are put on by the government. They have certain requirements to, if you have an employee you got to match their taxes, you got to take care of their health care, so on and so forth, right? So what's being laid out here, though, with the H-1Bs and the F immigrants, F1 immigrants, and things like that, is the dynamic is different because it's how the government has gamed the system, creating the incentive for businesses to hire immigrants over United States civilians. That is not capitalism. That's the furthest thing from capitalism. That's a regulatory system that has created this disparity. You got to be clear on that.
Joe, how did the government create that incentive?
By not having the same requirements for the immigrant as they do the American civilian.
How is wait. So if I hire you as an individual,
he and I can agree on one thing. Finley, you and I can agree on this. It was created because the government was unable to. So it was actually started under Eisenhower. Some of this because Eisenhower said he actually was, and this is what's shady about it. He actually started it because he said, hey, to build new Navy ships, he started building the military industrial complex. They said, hey, we need people to do this specialized work over here. Hey, who can we get to do it? And it turned out that people from China and India, you could quickly get them in and you could say, hey, I could pay them cheap. It was almost like slave labor. I could bring them in cheap and I could get them to do this work. And, they'll usually be willing to learn the stuff quicker than hiring an American. So they brought people in on a temporary status saying, let's do it. The intent wasn't for these people. That's why all these visas are temporary. Wasn't for them to stay here forever, just to be clear. Okay, and you can read it. It even says it in the law. Okay, I know Finley will try to pretend differently, but in the law it says these are temporary. Okay, so it's very important that we understand that. So the purpose was for that.
You've been speaking. Can I say something?
So let Joe finish because I was answering.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to pass the mic. Let's get some new voices in here, though. Let's just mix it up a little bit because we've got a lot of people on stage that probably want to add in.
I would like to get a turn if I get a chance.
Go ahead, Richard.
Okay, I just have one thing to say. I don't know what you got. I don't know if you guys, if King was saying things should be like this or shouldn't be like that, but look, this is all I got to say. Let each and every individual, citizen or foreigner, do whatever he or she can do to make a life however they want to make it. And it's like a fucking free-for-all. And whoever prevails, prevails. That's it, guys. Thank you.
Perfect. I've been trying to get back in. Did you want to speak?
I just wanted to say something.
Go ahead.
So, I have noticed. So, I studied Central Michigan University in Michigan, and I have noticed that most of the American citizen students or children get like scholarships and all, right? And I'm just solely talking about the university and college. That's all. I'm not talking about corporate sector and everything. I feel if the international students stop coming from India, China, Japan, Arab, Mexico, wherever, the universities or college will not be able to sustain the scholarships for American citizens, children or students, right? So I understand.
Why wouldn't they be?
Because I have seen, it's so expensive. And honestly, in the country like this, US, even if you're an undergrad, you can have such a good life and have a mansion and have a car like Mercedes, whatever you want. But in India, if you want to have like a good life,
most of the kids here are paying to go, and they're borrowing money to go.
Yeah,
scholarships
but
only given to academic and athletes.
She's saying that as a foreigner, she should have the same rights as an American.
No, of course
person.
not.
No, I think she's saying that they help support.
King, who told you I said that?
No,
He's gonna make up what you're saying anyway. You just gotta learn how to ignore it.
Can we shut the fuck up?
He's just gonna make up stuff that you said that you didn't say. Yeah, you said he
You couldn't understand the difference between specific and general.
She's saying
Because I've never
that foreign students bring money into our university. It's an income stream for our university.
I understood that.
Accurately, she's saying.
Shut up, a lady's talking.
Next caller.
Oh God, he's so
right.
King. You're so disrespectful. I swear.
Okay, one second, hold on. So this is what I like. King, 1 second. Sorry. One of the things, we can't hear everybody speak at the same time, and we do want to have good discourse, right? So one thing I will share really quick. Emma, you got your mic.
I'm trying to get it. My screen went black. I'm sorry.
No problem. So one of the things I've learned is when people go to college, they're choosing to do that either on their own dime. That means they're paying to go, or their parents are paying them to go. But college is a business. I consider it the biggest scam in the world, but it's still business. I don't know why we all believe that higher education is something, and I will say this, especially here in the US, higher education has taught most Americans who have a degree of any kind to hate their country. Okay? It's sad, but that's what we have. So I just want you guys to know, let's make sure we don't put all of our eggs in one basket, because at the end of the day, degrees only does one thing. It lets us know you know how to finish something. But in reality, degrees mean you should still have the right temperature, because you still have to navigate life. You still got to interview. You still got to hold your own when you go to a corporation or a company, or you go out on your own. At the end of the day, what makes America unique to any other country is we, the people. That means each individual American has a right to choose what they choose, but they should never want a bailout from the central government. And all bailouts that's happened with corporations, they were all wrong. I don't care what side of the aisle they were on. So I land there.
I was just pointing out that most people that go to our colleges that get scholarships, they're getting it either because of academics, or they're getting it because of athletics. Most students are borrowing money to go to school, which is a whole nother conversation.
And they get into debt for like $50,000, $60,000,
and I don't wholeheartedly disagree with what Edward was saying. And I also want to point out that King said the reason I didn't understand what we were talking about E-Verify is because we were talking about in reference to freaking their academic, their freaking transcripts and their academics and their degrees. Didn't know E-Verify checked that. My fault.
You know, honestly,
actually, E-Verify does verify people's background. It does a background check, which includes, did you actually graduate?
Please,
wow, I don't even know that.
I thought it only checked if you were living to work.
E-Verify does a background check.
I thought E-Verify only checked. I thought E-Verify.
Mr. Philly, 1 second.
I didn't land when King started piping up.
I know, but could you guys do one at a time?
I'm trying to.
Okay, there's no awards here, guys. Let everybody speak. And then Emma, right after the next person speak, you can go ahead and speak, Emma.
Yeah, let Michael Friendly, please.
All I'm saying is, because you said that I didn't know that E-Verify did anything other than verify that you are authorized to work in this country. So the E-Verify did background checks and degree checks. I didn't know they did that.
It does.
Last I checked, they don't do that.
Yeah, they do. So maybe it's the modules that you don't know about?
Yeah, I would love you to post a link in the chat where E-Verify does more than check your work authorization, because when I
just look it up yourself.
Because when I did E-Verify, that's for my passport. That's for my passport. That's it.
It follows your social security number and tracks everything you're doing.
Social security number. It checks your immigration status. And
legally, right?
Of course, it uses the documents to passport, the resident card, the EAD.
Yeah, to make sure
the social security number from my campus.
It does not check degrees or transcripts or professional licenses
or criminal record, right?
Criminal record
Thank
pops
you.
up on mine.
Thank you.
Criminal
Didn't
record
think
pops
so.
up on
Didn't
mine.
think so. I didn't think so.
No, it actually does.
No, it does not.
Well, serendipity, I use it, and it verifies what people are there.
So
not,
do I.
Okay. Well,
King,
well, maybe you're not
wait
using.
a second,
I'm
guys.
using a
I'm
different
so
module than
sorry
you,
for
maybe,
for
but-
interrupting you guys. So, King, basically, what you think is like I would not say Indians, but you think immigrants come to this country with fraud degrees, fraud like
Nope.
employment history and everything, right?
Nope, I didn't say that. I just to quote Finley, I didn't give a generalization. I speak in specifics. I said there's certain people that have come and done that. That doesn't
And
mean
I get
everyone does it.
that. Exactly.
He thinks
You know why?
E-Verify does. He
This
thinks
is
E-Verify
why.
does
This is
criminal background checks. So I don't know if I can trust.
Guys, can I speak? This
You
is
didn't
why,
even know what it was
King, being
called.
an Indian, guys, this is why being an Indian, I stay away from those consultancies because I also have an option to continue my visa, stay in this country, and then work illegally. I don't want to do it. I would prefer to go to my country because I have more countries to visit, right? Which is fine. But now my point here is if my point here is like why do you guys hate immigrants so much? Okay, now you will be like no, we don't hate it, it's fine. But in this whole group, I have literally shared my immigration status, my visa status and everything. And if even if you guys want any other information, I'm okay to fucking share it with you all. My LinkedIn history, my degrees, you want my transcripts, I'm okay to share that. You can get it verified from any other government in the world, you can. But still somebody's like, Kari, go back to your India. Get a plane for her Florida Black American Airlines and all. Like, what the fuck is this, bro?
Well, I never
Like,
said
and
that.
who? No. Of course, I'm not saying like this. Like, why so much racism, guys? And you know
Yeah,
what
that's
it's
wrong.
doing to me? Wait. You know what it's doing to me? So like, okay, I know like some Americans also visit to India. It's making me so much hate this country. Like, if I ever end back in my country, I would fucking start a podcast and tell all the Indians to stop treating Americans the nicer way because, bro, when we as Indians go to their country, they treat us like shit. And I don't want to do that because I've also met so many nice Americans. They're so nice to me and they're like, yeah. Because most of the Americans are also like, migrants, their parents or grandparents. I'm like, why so much hate, bro? Come on. I also hate people who are like illegally murdering people, like doing drug trafficking, human trafficking, and all. But like, at least spare the people who are legal immigrants here. Don't tell them like, Curry, go back your home. Of course, I would go back home, bro. I have a fucking rich family and I have a family there. I would go back. But at least stop saying that your government gave me the visa, bro. I didn't beg for it. I didn't pay them money. Like, I didn't bribe them. They thought that I was a good candidate for this country. They gave it for 5 years. I will stay here for 5 years and go back. At least stop hating me for those 5 years. I'm here to live. Why do you want to traumatize the immigrants?
Just a general question. You said you have a rich family. Why come here then?
Because only rich families. So in INR it's rupees, okay? In India it's a rupee country, okay? And in US it's dollars, right? You can convert like in dollars. It's expensive in INR. Yeah, okay. So I belong to a good family, and they were able to afford my US education system, right? So most of the US citizens cannot even afford education. I know I'm gonna get a lot of backlash because you guys are like on loan interest, right? My parents paid for everything in cash, and I'm not working, and they're paying $1,300 every month for my apartment and then my food and everything, right? I'm just here to like get a degree and like see if it works, it works. It doesn't. Like, I have a family back home, but that doesn't mean I'm open to race,
Yeah, no one
like
should treat you that way.
discrimination.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm a human, bro. I fucking love America. If I get up in India, even if I end up in India, I will be like, bro, America was so fucking great. Americans are so lucky and all, but I'm sad I couldn't make it there. Like, bro, you guys are so lucky to be in America, and I get it. Like, you don't want immigrants. I get it. Just tell the Trump to fucking stop. Give the visas, bro. Get it done with.
But
no visas, no fucking immigrants. End of the story. Get it done with.
But you started this conversation saying it's difficult for you to get a position in India and doing all this stuff. But now you're saying
yes,
you come from a rich family, so you're taking care of.
Okay, wait. See, I come from a rich family because my father was a retired person and my grandfather left a lot of land for my dad, and he has 3 pharmacies and all. You won't get it what it is because you are an American and you guys are used to live like a rich life and all. But in India we are rich Anyway, it's still a third world country, which I would agree to that. But now, since I belong to a well-to-do family, I can literally go to any other country, right? Now the thing is, only US is the only country who literally has an interview for all the visa applicants. Again, I would quote it, legal immigrants, to fucking pass an interview. And in India and all the other countries, it's like a big thing. Oh my god, you cleared a USA visa interview, because it's like a fucking hard. The American citizen takes our interview, they check our family history, our employment history. It's like a big thing, okay? So we cleared it, right? I fucking got a visa on my passport and I came here, right? My father was like, Yastika, don't go there. It's gonna be a race. I was like, Dad, it's just an experience, okay? Now my point is, if we knew that that US doesn't want immigrants, they don't want this and that, I would have never even applied for a visa. You get my point? No hate to America or anything. If I didn't want to stay in America, in India, I would have applied for any other country like Australia, UK, New Zealand, right? I just want to say that stop hating immigrants. That's all. We are also humans. I don't have kids. Imagine if I had kids, bro. Imagine.
Most of us don't hate immigrants, right? Most of us don't.
Doctor is like, I don't know if he's even a doctor or whatever. He says you should have listened to your father. Yes, I should have listened to my father. And guess what? When I'm gonna go to back to my country, I'm like, Dad, you were right. Stop hating immigrants, bro.
Most of us don't hate immigrants.
Hold on. Look, it's not good. Look, let me offer a pushback to what she's saying, because you're just going to come in and coddle her, right?
I'm not coddling. I'm telling her the truth. I'm not coddling her. I'm telling her the truth.
Yes, doctor, you're so right.
I'll go after you, Joe. You're a mod. I'll go after you. Go ahead. I go.
Yeah, no, let me just offer some pushback. So, look, I don't know. It's not personal. You shouldn't take it personal. You shouldn't take the internet personal. And do not give your personal information out to the internet or anybody here on this stage. Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
I know, but then imagine, Joe, if I wouldn't have said that, then you would have think like I would have illegal immigrant, right?
Yeah, no, listen, we'll take you for your word. But none of what we're saying is you seem like a genuine person. I wish more Americans were as genuine as you. I hope you take that as a compliment. We don't, it's a breath of fresh air of how genuine you appear to be offering your story to us. And thank you for coming in here. However, the greater issue is that Americans have been inundated with immigration for quite a while, and how we how we kind of encourage change in our government is through these type of conversations, through this type of debate. And yes, it's about, it can come off crude, it can come off rude if you're the one that's being, sexually marginalized. Personal. However, understand you should learn what our grievances are. And you don't have to agree with them, but maybe you could have some compassion to the Americans, because listen.
But Joe, I'm sorry, but I think that you guys are so lucky. Whoever was born on the US soil is so lucky.
Can someone shut her up so we can have a conversation?
Hold on. Let me just finish, and then I'll pass it right back. I'll let Donald go at it for half an hour, okay? You left a caste system. You left Indian DEI. And it's very similar here in America, that you are being chosen because of a DEI, because of a caste system that has been created by our government officials. And that's why Americans have grievances towards immigrants coming here. And this is something that has only largely changed here since Donald Trump has become president. We were arguing about this years before, but our government would not listen to us. Our government sold us out along with the corporations in their agenda to do this. This has been this is momentum over the last decade, and it's going to continue momentum. However, don't take it personal. It's just American politics. It's a blood sport. You're welcome to the blood sport of American politics.
To be clear, most Americans don't hate immigrants. We most Americans don't. We have been having the same. We've been having the same.
Like, can you shut her up? Like, I was shut it up for like an hour. Like, bro, like, is this
We've been having the same. We've been having the same argument about immigrants literally since freaking like the 1910s, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Europeans did it to each other when the Western Europeans got here. You know, the immigrants are bad, and then you know we've like replayed the Mexican immigrant story for a while. This is the same wash, rinse, repeat. When economic times get hard as a result of the freaking capitalists, the oligarchs, we find a scapegoat, and it's always the immigrants. We blame them when they're legitimately only trying to do the same thing that many of our ancestors, well, some of our ancestors did, right? But like the same thing. Come here and build a freaking life, right? In a nation that we claim is Christian, right? Even though we're only Christian on Sundays and for about an hour and a half, right? But so don't take that personal. It's not your fault that the capitalists. It's not your fault that the capitalists exploit labor. And I want to say one thing I'm going to And I want to point out that only an American would tell somebody that since you're rich, you should just go smooch off your parents.
Yeah.
To hell with going out and working hard and finding your own way, which is what you've done, right? To hell with that. Smooch off your parents, which is only something that America would say.
Can I tell you something? It's gonna sound so lame, but can I tell you something? It's just gonna be for you.
No loan degree is finding your own way.
Naveen.
I mean, I'm gonna write text for my kids.
Verify link in the chat for you.
Talk to you for like I just.
It does not do background checks.
We know E-Verify does do background checks. This is why I challenged it earlier, but he's gonna double down and triple down.
But like, what if Finlay, some guests come to your house, right, and they are like ruining your couch? They are invading your kitchen. They are going in your fridge. They are fucking destroying your bedroom, right? You'll be like, I'm done with this. Fucking go back to your home, right? Wouldn't you say that? Because you have a.
It's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose.
Right, exactly. So I want the US to be like, fuck off, immigrants. No more visas for you all. Fuck off to your fucking poor countries. End of the story. Why do you still keep giving visas and still complain about immigrants? That's my whole point.
I get it, but that's what some of us want. Some of us want a 10-year moratorium on all immigration, legal or we don't
Send
want
us all back, bro, Joe. Like literally get a flight all back.
If you want to understand why, it's because our government has inundated us with immigration illegally and legally for the last 15 years. It's been a huge burden to our system here between our schooling, our hospitals, our pension system, our social security. We get why they're doing it. The reason they're doing it is because American citizens and civilians are not replacing our population fast enough. So the left and also corporate Republicans have come up with the greatest idea of, well, we're just going to bring in third worlders to come in here and fill the gaps while Americans kill their babies through abortion and get drugged out with substance abuse. And we're not going to fix the problems we have with our American culture. We're just going to replace them with immigrants.
Joe, like my point. So Joe's point is, hate the government.
Immigration is our freaking birth story. Like we've always invited in immigrants until those immigrants started not to look like the ones from Europe. We've always freaking, you know what I'm saying?
There's no reason why both perspectives can't be true.
My family's been here 400 years.
I didn't say anything about your family specifically, Joe. I'm talking about America as the country. As a country. I didn't single my family out, Joe.
Let's bring in some new voice. Serendipity's been trying to get in. I want to give some room to serendipity.
I was just going to say, there's absolutely no reason in the world why both things can't be true. We can embrace some top talent from the immigrants that choose to come to this country. And in spite of the scandal with the fake diplomas, which I did look up, it was approximately 36,000 over the course of a decade. And we have anywhere from 80 to 90,000 come into the country every single year. The majority of the immigrants that come in have extended strategic degrees in particular subjects. We need that talent. And yes, we as Americans need to start, we need to take revamping our education system and the attitude that our children have about education and about learning in school. We need to make those changes because we do need to be more competitive. The attitude in American children, when compared to children over in Europe, particularly in Asia, and India, is entirely different. Our children think that they work on this capacity of, well, I'm either going to be good at that or I'm not. And if I'm just not. And Eastern cultures don't have that mentality. Eastern cultures very much live with the mentality of, if I put in the effort, I can solve the problem. And that's a problem with our kids' attitudes. Those are changes that we need to make over here. So I feel like both of these perspectives can be true.
You see this Indian? I'm sorry, I'm an Indian. You see this Indian? This is how Indian men are. And we come to the US as a woman so that we can have
Wait.
over here.
Didn't you make this complaint about racism and now you are going to be racist about Indian men?
This is how men
You just lost all your credit.
How is she being racist toward her own people?
I'm sorry, but Indian men are not like that.
Not all of men. Of course, I have my brother, my dad, and all, but not all. But this is what they do. This is what they do mostly.
So I'm going to just give my take on this because I'm really getting tired of listening to people say how much talent we need and all this other stuff, and I really hope that we get exactly what we deserve. So when our neighbors' kids can't get jobs after they finish college or after they get a technical certification or secondary education or after they have done all the degrees, master degrees, PhDs, and doctorates and associates, after all of that they can't get a job because you all are under this crazy idea that we don't have enough talent. And whenever I hear somebody talking about this, the first thing that I always hear, even though I didn't hear it in this room today, the first thing I hear is, well, nobody's gonna go pick fruit. Dude, these jobs, the majority are information technology jobs. The job titles are systems analyst, systems engineer, developer, programmer, project manager. I mean, all of these positions average. Matter of fact, I looked this up. The average salary on all H-1B job titles was $100,000 a year. That was average. So, I mean, I just hope that we get exactly what we deserve by continuing on with this, because the Republicans aren't going to stop it and the Democrats aren't going to stop it. And all these folks who keep voting these people in office, letting them sign off on the next renewal set of visas or work visas and the next set of work visa applications. Every time they do it, we lose, and in every single city in the country, just because we are under this illusion that we do these jobs, even though right now have millions of people who are U.S. citizens who are struggling, can't find a job. You have employers emboldened, I mean, to no end, to put all these undue burdens out because, they can, on the backs of U.S. citizens' paychecks, because they get tax breaks for it.
Well,
They
that's
can put
why.
all these requirements on all these jobs because we're giving them the tax breaks for it.
Sure.
That's why I will land here by saying I'm gonna get, just like I'm getting on my knees and praying to God that Kamala Harris is the DNC.
No, it's going to be AOC. It's going to be President AOC.
And that AOC is the nominee or some other female candidate. I'm gonna get on my knees and pray to God that we get exactly what we deserve, because I don't understand. There is no way that as many citizens as most people know of and are familiar with, that we would honestly believe what we're being told about us not having talent. That is just freaking.
Well, you're I'm sorry. I got the Marshall. I've actually picked some crops, and I was the only white person, U.S. citizen there.
That's it.
Nobody else wanted to do it.
Nobody wanted to do those jobs, Marshall.
And Christian, you live about 50 miles away from the U.S. border, if I recall correctly, about 50 miles. So you have run past all those farms. There are not U.S. citizens that want to do those particular jobs. There just aren't.
Did you ask?
They hired in a cucumber field in 2023, $35 an hour, and they couldn't get anybody else aside from the standard people that did the work, which are either people who are here on asylum stuff or people who are not here legally. One of the two.
Or the H-1B visas.
No, that's not an H-1B. And that's not the point. The point is, U.S. citizens don't want to do the job. They're not interested.
Marshall, it's a lose-lose. On one hand, we know that American citizens don't want to do those jobs. I grew up on a farm, and the last thing I wanted to do when I became an adult was freaking work on a freaking farm. It's freaking it's hot. It's lose-lose. Yeah, but then on the other hand, I get a better check sitting at air conditioned flight deck. But on the other hand, Marshall, right? We say how great America is, how we're the greatest country in the world. But then when immigrants are competing and they're sitting their best and brightest to go to our good universities, then we're saying, well, no, you can't do that either, right? Which is it? Right? Either we have this great work ethic and we'll take a paycheck, or we have the best and the brightest and we can outcompete them. Because the reality is, medical schools,
they can apply for a student.
Medical schools,
either we're full of shit and we can't actually compete, or we have the best workers on the planet, and no matter what you put in front of us, we will overcome.
Exactly. I want to take the subject off of the freaking IT, because medical schools, the hospitals ain't. I would argue that they're still underpaying doctors, but still, they pay a good wage. They're paying benefits. They're not undercutting and making them independent contractors. And you still see the majority of our medical schools are foreign students. Why? Because our K through 12 is trash. We can't compete in STEM. That is a fact.
A majority of work visas are in information technology. It is not medical doctors or.
I didn't say the majority of our work visas. I didn't argue that point. I said the majority of our medical schools.
The majority is information.
Because there's way more information tech jobs. There's just not a lot of doctors, like, you know what I'm saying? My point is that the majority of our medical schools, I'm taking it off of IT. I'm putting it in a field in which it's truly competitive, right? And you can't undercut them with no benefits, right? And the majority of them are foreign students, the majority. And nursing is getting awfully close to being the same. They're not undercutting them.
You're talking about a drop in the bucket. The lion's share is jobs.
Christian, it doesn't matter. The point is that they are competing. This is my point.
It's jobs that people who are U.S. citizens that were born here, that have generation after generation who've lived in the United States. The majority are citizens that could do these jobs. And
Christian, they're not. Right.
Because of the decisions that we make.
No, Christian, I got paid $8 an hour to do that shit for 6 hours a day, and nobody else that was white or pale or black showed up.
As I said, we will get exactly what we deserve.
And this is also not a Democrat problem either.
It will be sad, but we will get what we deserve.
Yeah, so
Christian, this is also not a Democrat problem either.
Well,
this was not created by Democrats.
Yeah, it's actually created by Eisenhower, just to be clear.
Because Republicans won't stop it.
Well, hold on.
Even though Democrats wrote every.
Richard, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with the people that are actually picking your food and put it in your grocery store. And those people aren't you, and they don't look like you, and they don't look like me.
Marshall, just wait 1 second. I just want to say one thing, right? So where Finley and Christian, we have to agree. Finley is right on this, is that, yes, well, you're right as well to say that a lot of the majority of it, at one point at least, was heavily IT. Okay, and my contention in that was when look, this may have changed in the last 5 years or so, but for a long time I was hiring IT people and I was staffing IT people, and one of the biggest things I would compete with these companies, Quality Matrix, other companies like this, that would pride themselves on training people who were on F1 visa, but were in STEM. They were maybe a computer science major, but they weren't going to get hired by Google and all this because they weren't the top tier of those graduates, and they weren't coming from an MIT and all that. They were coming from a local university like a Stony Brook University, which is also a very good school, but other schools like that they were coming from. And so the view is, okay, well, they're not going to get one of those things. So they need an H1, but they're capable. So let me train them in QA testing, right? Well, okay, but they don't actually need a degree in QA testing. They don't actually even need a degree to learn QA testing. And some of the people who didn't have the qualification for doing it, so they were doing it. But where Finley is right is that a lot of people are coming here with a medical background and other things and are getting those opportunities because for a long time, Americans felt like, well, what's the point of me doing this when, I'm not going to get that? Let me find an area where I can succeed, whether it's business or what. And there's actually more Americans that are saying, you know what, screw degrees, because I'm not going to be able to compete with these people, not because they can't, but because they feel the system has been rigged against them, and which has been both Republicans and Democrats who've written it. And the final thing I want to mention, to kind of support what Christian is saying, is that there are Americans who can do this. I do contracting work for the Navy. I have a billet right now where they're looking for somebody at the top level of cybersecurity. I'm not allowed to hire an H1. I have thousands of applicants that have come in that are US citizens that have this background. So what that tells you is that companies, and this is where Finley is right, is the of capitalism, is that companies are basically saying, hey, you know what? This talent may be there, but holy shit, I'd rather hire this guy because he's going to work round the clock, whereas an American will leave at 5, most likely. That's the belief, at least. Will leave at 5. This person will work around the clock. They'll do whatever. They'll say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. They'll do whatever needed to be done. And our people will be lazy and do this. That's a discrimination from the company perspective, but you even have the freaking Navy looking for top level people that are US citizens, and I'm getting them. Now, I will be honest, some of the requirements, I sent an email to the guy saying, look, I'm not going to find degree people with these certs, but there's a lot of Americans who are getting the certs that don't have degrees that are highly qualified to get those jobs, and they're able to get them. But I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of these opportunities that are there, and Americans can do them, but I think a lot of companies choose to say, hey, can I get the cheapest bang for the buck? So, Finley, you're right on that piece, and I think it's fair to criticize these companies for doing that, but we enable them, which is what Joe was trying to say earlier.
And real quick, so that basically it's 8-1. For every one medical work visa, it's 8 IT work visas.
Christian, I think you missed my point.
And also, hold on. And then also, when you look at at what's the lion's share or what the numbers actually are, when you tally up the approvals and renewals, information technology is at 600,000, and medicine and healthcare is only at 90,000. and then all the others are well below that. So
you're missing my point.
It's almost kind of, and this is why I get so upset when I hear somebody say something about picking fruit and being on a farm. Like, again, that's not the lion's share of the work visas, and those are not the highest paying of the work visas. The lion's share and the highest income salary of the work visas are in the information technology area.
So my point was, you missed my point. Of course, doctors are not the lion's share. They're a small percentage of the workforce, very small percentage of the workforce. I think it's like one doctor in America for every, 200,000 people. So clearly that's not the lion's share. The point was that I was using doctors as the example, right? The example of how immigrants are outperforming us because the majority of medical schools are freaking immigrants. That is what I'm saying. Because we argue that we argue on both ends of the spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, we say that these migrants are taking the jobs that Americans can do. Knowing Americans ain't gonna pick no freaking fruit. They're not gonna freaking do it. They ain't gonna do it. Marshall brought the $35 an hour. There's a guy here in Florida that owns a strawberry farm, very large strawberry farm in here, and he's paying in freaking Central Florida for a service job, $25 an hour is a lot of freaking money. He's paying $25 an hour, and he had to freaking go the visa route to get people to do those jobs because Americans weren't lining up to do them. That's the point. And then on the higher end, right, in which you do need the qualifications, like we're arguing on those jobs too, because they're outperforming us. I made the argument earlier that generally speaking, right, I know that they're undercutting because that's a true point. I'm not going to say this is not, that they're undercutting us by not giving them benefits. But if you go education for education, on average, those immigrants are more educated than us and more qualified on average.
Hold on. I got to stop this misinformation. This is a simple question you can ask Grok. Is a majority of U.S. medical school students immigrant students? And Grok's coming back saying, no, it's not even close. The non-U.S. citizen and non-permanent resident candidate category only accounts for about 1.4% of the total U.S. Medical doctor enrollment. So where are you getting this belief?
Do you mean children of immigrants? Is that what you're getting at?
No. He's saying immigrant students. No, we're talking about in the case of someone like, I don't know.
Do you have a source, Joe, for where you're getting your data?
The Association of American Medical Colleges. Yeah.
AMA.
I will. So, yeah, I'll post it right here. This is 2023. Okay. Posted down here in the bottom. There you go. Pretty simple. So look, what you're saying right now is just a platitude. It's a talking point. It's political rhetoric. It's BS. It's not true that a majority of the medical doctor students are immigrants.
I'm gonna post my source.
Why do you hate America so much, Mr. Finley?
Why do you? I don't hate America. What the hell are you saying? My father's a freaking Vietnam vet. What the hell are you talking about? My grandfather fought in Korea. What the hell are you talking about? I wanted to go to the Air Force to become a pilot. I don't hate this country. That's just silly. That's like saying my cousin that's a criminal that does criminal things and I criticize him for being bad. I hate him. No, I hate what he does.
Yeah, that's a crazy allegation.
That is a silly allegation. And if I couldn't with the right law, I'm the first one to sign up. What the hell are you talking about?
You talk about American citizens as if they're dogs.
I'm not talking about American citizens. I'm talking about the systems that we have created. I said K through 12 is trash. It is a trash system. And I'm talking about the dumb arguments that we make. We argue that the low wage jobs, Americans don't want to do them. They don't. That's a fact. That's not me hating this country. And we aren't competitive in STEM. We're just not. That's a fact.
I posted it.
I'm gonna find. I didn't pull that stat out of my behind.
Residents.
This
is total U.S. MD.
I'm not. If I'm wrong, I'm man enough to say that I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm man enough to say I'm wrong. But I didn't pull that stat out of my behind. I certainly read that somewhere. I make stuff up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm calling it out. This was a simple thing.
I just said if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to find my source and I'm going to post it. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong.
It's been one of your pillar talking points.
I'll say it again. I'll say it again, Joe. Joe, I'll say it again, Joe. I'll say it again, Joe.
Just
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Right? But I'm going to find the source that I'm quoting from because I didn't pull that out of my behind. I'm not going to sit here and make a big argument off of nothing.
And why is it?
This is the
why, Joe. One question: why is it your knee-jerk reaction to ask him why he hates this country? He just was presenting facts. He's just remaining objective. Why do you take that as hate for this country?
Clearly, he's perpetuating this narrative because he has some animosity towards, I guess he clarified what it is. The school system is where that animosity comes from. It seems like it's misguided because
it's not misguided, Joe.
Hold on. It's your pillar talking point.
Joe,
you have repeated this talking point.
So, Joe,
the medical doctor, since you interjected this. Hold on. About 15 minutes ago, you interjected this saying, well, look, I want to get out of IT and I want to talk about the medical field. And this was your number one talking point to lead into the medical field.
Joe, Joe, that doesn't change my greater point about us being competitive. It doesn't change. Even if I'm wrong on that point, it doesn't change my greater point. That immigrants do come here more educated and they're more freaking competitive. It doesn't change that point. It doesn't. I said I'm going to find the stat. But also, Joe, because
hold on, Finley. Hold on. Listen, we listened to I Don't Know up here say that Americans can go pretty much largely.
Hold on 1 second, Joe. Hold on, my wife's calling me. Hold on 1 second, Joe.
No, I'm going to keep making my point.
No, I'm saying keep making your point. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you.
It's cool, man. I don't take it any personal. I think you're a genuine guy, Mr. Finley. Glad to have you here. Look.
Let's face it, nobody lands on Clubhouse better than Mr. Finley.
Well, he uses talking points that are
the joke. He's a pilot.
His ultimate narrative, and that's what I want to try and get to here, because I Don't Know tells us, and I don't know if she's right or not, but
I don't know,
Americans
Joe. I just love America. It would be sad for me.
Hold on, I don't know. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I don't know. You made it clear about an hour ago. Look, if you're going to interrupt, Moose, I'm just going to move you down. Okay? So I don't know. You made it clear that Americans can pretty much write their ticket wherever they want to go, right? Yeah. However, Indians cannot.
In this country,
Indians have. Okay, so we can't have it both ways with this narrative. This is a hypocrisy in the narrative. How can Americans be the dumbest people on earth that we can't get into college and we can't work in STEM fields? We have to bring in all these immigrants, and at the same time, also be able to write our ticket anywhere in the world.
But we have the best colleges in the world. They come to us to go to our Harvards and Penns and Yales and Columbias, you know?
For how long? More?
40 years.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to speak because somebody from this panel is muting me up. So, yeah.
Oh, you're a hottie, aren't you?
Pass the mic.
Look at all the Chinese. All the Chinese, they come to America to go to our colleges.
World with certain that other people. So that's true. And it's also true that, you've been dealing with this thing for the whole existence of the country. And in fact, I was really stunned when that thing was brought up about that executive order King brought up. I never knew about that. And I went and looked it up, and actually Trump rightfully intensified the attention to a law that was passed by Congress in 1990 where that was first established. So apparently both parties actually do agree with the fact that there needs to be parity in the incentives. That's very, very smart. But if you do have a shortage in an area of the economy, anytime you do, why wouldn't you legitimately encourage to bring talent to the country. Like, you don't think you can afford that, absorb that? Like, you make it sound like you're just kind of running out of everything. And you're just, like you said, I think you used the word inundated, right? Like in the case of nursing, or we brought up, healthcare, you say, oh, it can be more in IT than whatever it is. But shouldn't you just use like whatever sector that's important to human life? If you have not yet been able to do it with homegrown, then why encourage that in the rest of the world? I can tell you, because of America's change in attitude of this, other countries are benefiting. Canada, Europe are definitely benefiting on talent going, wow, we're like, I don't know, going, I guess we're not wanted here, so we'll just go elsewhere. I think that talent is an economic asset to those countries that America's losing out on.
Yeah, but what if their cultures don't assimilate with Western American values?
Well, I can see that.
I do. I love Christmas. I love Thanksgiving. I love the turkey stuff and all. I love American culture. I do assimilate.
Hollywood, guys, like American culture is the world's culture.
Well, Christmas is not just American. That's a Christian.
Somebody tell me what American culture is.
Whoever is muting me, can you just remove me from this?
That's a very good question.
I want somebody to tell me what American culture is.
Football.
Kid Rock.
So you got enough football to be an American culture?
A cowboy.
Pizza.
Okay, and the freaking
cheeseburgers, steak,
hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
mashed potatoes.
Hot dogs. That's American culture.
A NASCAR race.
And being
NASCAR racing.
And let
so the Amish aren't Americans.
Sleepover.
Yeah, but they're Americans, but they're not really America.
But they're Americans.
Technically, yes, they're Americans, but they're not part of America.
Finley, this is disingenuous.
What's disingenuous?
To act like everyone has to. You got to mute when you're not.
Oh, my fault.
You have background. Yeah. It's disingenuous to lead people down this path that says, what's American culture? And if everyone doesn't participate in that cultural piece, then that's not American culture, or somehow ultimately where your narrative's going with this.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm making an argument you don't have to participate.
Hold on. Just because eating hamburgers and hot dogs, for 4th of July picnics, things like that, that is American culture. But there are vegetarians that don't eat hamburgers. Okay, so it doesn't mean that's not part of our culture.
No, I'm saying, I'm making the argument that not everybody participates in that. Is my argument, and that you don't have to participate in these.
And nobody disagrees with you.
I'm saying towards the red, white, and blue.
I'm saying those people don't have to participate in the American culture. That's what I'm arguing. That if you come here, you don't have to assimilate. That's my argument. What? You just have to come here, obey the laws of the Constitution. That's it. That's my argument.
No, that's not. That's assimilating.
Go to Canada for that.
Obeying the laws and the Constitution.
Go to Canada.
Yeah, you're assimilating to the American laws and regulations.
Right. I am saying you don't have to assimilate to the culture so long as you adhere to the laws and the Constitution.
Go hang out with Ilhan Omar.
I don't know why you're yelling at random stuff, but I am saying that I don't have to eat hot dogs and participate in all the American cultural stuff. I am saying so long as you're here to the Constitution. You don't have to obey the Constitution. Someone said that in order to become an American, you have to assimilate into our culture. And I am saying that's not my requirement. My requirement is, and I should say allegiance to the Constitution and obey our laws. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's your view.
Do you obey all of our laws?
No, I don't. I'm a criminal.
Clearly, I'm a criminal. You got an opportunity to have free speech and have your view.
Why would somebody ask me if I obey our laws? Yes, they have to pay taxes.
Okay, so you're giving.
That's the American way. We gotta pay for these nice roads.
The Constitution and our laws.
We gotta pay our taxes because we enjoy clean drinking water and paved streets and police and fire.
How do you think we got 100 different types of groups of identities in this country, but yet we assimilate in American culture?
We haven't really assimilated American culture. There's a greater culture that wants
civil war with 100 different groups of people.
Because people have decided that we can live together under one constitution, under one set of laws.
Mr. Finley, let me ask you a question in regards to non-assimilation. Would you be willing to assimilate to a city that has changed their ordinances, their sound ordinances, to allow for the 5 prayers for the Muslims, that when they sound off their horns,
when they ring the bells?
When they ring the bells, are you willing to?
I don't know that would bother me 5 times a day. Ringing the bell for how long?
Right now.
How long do they ring the bells?
The city of.
I'm asking a question. How long do they ring the bells?
They don't ring a bell. They sound a horn.
How long do they sound the horn?
Sound music. I don't know why you're being uppity right now.
Yeah,
but
see, that's what we're talking about.
So would you assimilate? Because right now the city of Minneapolis has already ushered that in.
Minneapolis doesn't sound the horns 5 times a day. I was literally just in Minneapolis 2 days ago.
Yeah, how'd we figure that out?
Yeah, no, Minneapolis is doing that.
They don't sound horns 5 times a day. I literally was just there.
Okay, I'll cite my source. I'll bring it up. You might not have been in the region where they're doing it. Maybe you could, but you don't know anything about this, that Minneapolis has brought the.
Even if they did, if that's what the locals voted in, why should I object? Isn't that local control? I didn't like the fact that frickin' the city of Milwaukee, where I used to live, had frickin' one-sided parking. You had to switch to frickin' parking. I hated that, so I moved.
Just Google Patterson, New Jersey.
Michigan.
He said Minneapolis.
Michigan.
Yeah, but I'm giving you another example.
Okay, if the locals voted for it, why should I object? They don't have liquor in my small hometown.
The police,
in my small hometown,
city wear a flag of another country. That's what I'm wondering. Or should they be wearing an American flag on their police?
In my small hometown, you couldn't buy liquor on Sundays.
Should the American police department in an American city wear another country's flag on their police uniform, or should they wear the United States of America flag?
They do wear the United States of America flag on the uniform.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
All right. You want me to show you pictures?
Show me a department in which the American flag. What department in which is the United States flag not?
New Jersey.
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, I have a PBS article right here. PBS article was written April 14th, and Minneapolis becomes first major U.S. city to broadcast Islamic call to prayer 5 times per day. This is the difficulty when you're trying to have these conversations with people on the left, is that
I'm not on the left. Why do you do that?
Let him.
Why you do that label thing?
What, you want to not give him his free?
Oh, look. If I misidentified you or I dead named
I don't
you,
identify as a political ideology or a political party.
Okay. Well, you perpetuate you're
because I'm in a room that leans right. When I'm in the lefty rooms, they call me a MAGA.
This is what. Okay, that's cool, but this is what we'd call you as a water carrier, because you perpetuate the leftist narrative.
No, I don't.
So that's why
I'm in a right room and I push back against some of the ideas. And when I'm in a left room, I push back against, they call me a righty. I don't think that anybody should be all of one thing.
So
that's
when you were perpetuating the narrative that a majority of the medical students are immigrant American civilians.
I wasn't perpetuating that narrative. I was perpetuating the narrative that we're being outcompeted by foreigners. That's the narrative I'm perpetuating.
No, but you used that.
Yes, and if that fact is incorrect, I will yield to that fact. It doesn't change my narrative.
That's a left wing.
It's not a left wing talking point. No lefty told me that. I read that somewhere.
It weakens your position. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm saying y'all. This is what people do. This is what drives me crazy about politics. People believe that if you object to one of their points, or if you object to their points, that you are automatically on the other side. That is a terrible way of freaking thinking. It's
But when that point is on the other side, that's the problem.
It's why the culture wars win so easily, because all your side has to do is come up with a culture war that will lather you up, and you will go out and rightfully vote for a dumb candidate. Both sides do it. It's just silly. You can certainly have two different thoughts that are on both sides of the aisle. This is why I love Alaska so much. They are both freaking pro-choice and they're freaking pro-Second Amendment. You know why? Because they have freaking common sense in that state.
I think the issue though, Mr. Finley, is that your points are wrong when you're
that one data point might have been wrong, Joe, and you're gonna beat me about the head with it.
No, I just listed another one. I wanted to go into.
I said I was just in Minneapolis and I didn't observe that.
Okay, I'm really annoyed, Mr. Finley. You keep interrupting Joe. You don't even let him finish a sentence. And I think it's because you're like.
If Joe objects to my interruptions, then he will tell me.
Okay, so shut
I've been.
Well, Anne's a mod.
Actually, you're in the room with us, and
I didn't know Anne was a mod. I didn't catch that. My apologies.
So other people are.
Look. I want to try and bring it back. The reason I brought up Minneapolis was about cultural assimilation, and that here we have immigrants that have come in, and now they're not assimilating to hot dogs and cheeseburgers on 4th of July picnics, or even Christmas, like I don't know is doing. How much she loves our Christmas season here in America. But
I used to celebrate Christmas back in India as well. I used to go to churches and light candles. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Sweet. That's wonderful. Glad.
Beautiful.
Yeah, glad.
So welcome to America, baby.
And I'm sorry. Like, I don't know, maybe there are some churches in US, but in Michigan, I have never found a church where I can actually go do some confession in the confession box and light some candles, because here it's just like you can go to the church, pray, like, and then just come back home. I want to actually feel the Jesus, you know? So
you're looking for a Catholic church.
See, I see why you confused her voice from mine.
Hold on. And look, I'll pass it back. But look, I'll just be honest. I would be uncomfortable assimilating to Islam, having the broadcasting the Islamic call 5 times a day where I live. I'd be uncomfortable with that when we could prevent that as Americans.
I don't know, but like I've Christian friends all my life and used to go to churches, so it's like so common to me, like, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July. So like it's just, I don't know, it's just not foreign to me, you know.
Also, I
missed the 4th of July church service.
Also, I just looked it up. So they allow mosques to do a call to prayer.
Where?
Audibly in Minneapolis. I don't know why that's. I don't know why that's such a big deal. It's not like it's sponsored by the government. They're just saying mosques. You can ring the bell or sound a horn for a call to prayer.
I'll respond. It was co-signed by the government because they had sound ordinances that were in place that they would not be able to blare it at that level. That they had to actually go in and change the sound ordinances laws to be able to do this. So this is being co-signed, and this is sound pollution that American citizens are going to have to deal with.
Just like Christian churches, dude. It's the same thing.
Okay.
What?
Okay. So
yeah, that's what they try to do. They equate the church ringing bell justification for some guy to go and speech blah blah blah.
It's the time of day. It's the time of day.
5 times at 3 a.m. in the morning. Please, for the love of God, give us some reason in this country. Do not abuse freedom of religion. Do not abuse freedom of religion as a constitutional right.
I don't know about you, but I don't want to hear some guy screaming into a microphone at 5 o'clock in the morning. I want to sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I don't want to hear people blasting music at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to hear freaking freeway sounds at 5 o'clock in the morning, or high traffic on the road at 5 o'clock in the morning, or sirens at freaking 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to hear lawnmowers blast at 5 o'clock in the morning. None of that stuff.
Okay,
right?
Then why can't they just do the call to prayer to their cell phones?
Because that's what they choose to do. That's what, just like no different than my Baptist church ringing the bell.
There we go, the bells again.
Ringing the bell when it was time for freaking church. What's the difference?
Did they ring the bell at 5 a.m.? That's the difference.
It doesn't make a difference. If it's, you know what I'm saying? Listen. If we don't,
you got to be quiet before 7 o'clock.
it's not that if they're limited. They're limited to a number of times, and they're limited. They're freaking limited to it. I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I don't know if that's American culture.
It is a big deal. I'm moving out of that town. I'm moving out of that town.
Then you're free to do that.
No.
You're free to move out of that town.
So if the call to prayer wakes up your crying baby at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you have to get up.
A gunshot could wake up a baby at 5 in the morning, or a siren, or a siren,
you don't have to live with it.
or a siren could wake up, or a siren could wake up a kid at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Once in a while, I'm fucking call to prayers every single fucking day. 5 o'clock.
Actually, in some cities, sirens happen all the time.
Are they scheduled? There's a reason.
Or if you live near a freeway, it's loud all the time. Unless you have one of those sound barriers.
There's a reason why we have noise pollution laws. You realize that, mister, right?
Say what?
We have noise pollution laws. You know that, right?
You know how often those noise pollution laws are enforced? You know how often cops write tickets for noise pollution laws?
You realize
it's rare.
You just can't go like blazing music all over the place in a neighborhood.
Yes, the hell you can. Those are rarely enforced. It's rarely enforced.
Cite and release misdemeanor. Cited and release.
Blazing music in a neighborhood. You're gonna get a noise pollution violation, buddy.
Yeah, okay.
It depends on the decimals. Wait, hold up. It depends on the decimals.
And where you are.
He's saying there's no law on it.
I didn't say there was no law. I said it was barely enforced.
He's a fucking idiot.
I didn't say there were no laws. I said it's barely enforced.
You said you could go do that. You said you could just do that. Like there's no.
My point is that it's not enforced. That's my point. There's laws against jaywalking. How many people get jaywalking tickets?
They're getting them.
They're not.
Show me
a city where they write a lot of jaywalking tickets.
Mr. Finley, this is ignorance at its finest. For you to say that
I jaywalked 6 times during this conversation. No ticket.
Well, Moose, I mean, you just cannot have mic discipline. Look, noise ordinance laws are certainly put into effect, especially to businesses. Say a bar that has music. Bars in certain neighborhoods, if they're a neighborhood bar and they have live music, they have to cut off at 9 or 10 p.m. There's many noise ordinances that are enforced all across America, all through many communities with different types of noise ordinances. Just because someone doesn't break it all the time doesn't mean that it's not enforced. It's definitely enforced.
Joe.
And
so can I just ask a question? What's the big deal if there are already noise ordinances? What do we care? Like you said, it's a local issue, right? So if it's going on,
if you have non-Muslims
let me finish
in
my
those cities
sentence.
and
I haven't
towns.
spoken very much. So let me finish my question. Why not just enforce the ones you have, as Joe was just saying? And if you don't have sufficient ones, you make new ones. What's the big deal?
Muslims took over positions in the power of government in these areas to change the noise ordinance laws a few years ago, to now be able to have the call of prayer 5 times a day blasted over their speakers. That's literally what happened. They're forcing Americans to assimilate to their cult.
They're not forcing Americans. They went through the legislative process and got the law changed. Is that not American?
Wait, Joe. Which states are you talking about? Which area?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minneapolis. I got it posted at the top, Char. Come on, Ray. It's right there. There's a link. Minneapolis.
Smart there.
Oh, my bad. It's
but they literally follow the law, use our laws, and got the law changed. We do it all the time.
Go back to chillism.
Did you want to say something, Beaver?
Yeah, I was just telling him to go back to chillism.
Ban to chillism.
Oh no! Oh my goodness! We disagree. Okay, fine.
Look, Ben, I think you've been a good sport. I'm actually the kindness of the mods up here. It might not come off like that to popular opinion, but
I appreciate y'all's telling. I really do. That's genuine.
Generally, we can prevent this with strong immigration rules. We don't have to succumb to the Muslims
moving here and changing the noise ordinances in the cities once they take control and power, and putting our neck under their boot to assimilate to their culture. That's ultimately what it is. You may agree with it. You may say, hey, you know what? I'm fine with it. Let them all in. My kind heart, my big heart. I have this moral superiority because I am not concerned about as long as they don't bother me. But wait till you wake up one day and they bother you.
I don't know how, again, first of all, if as Christians, we did a better job of, doing the work, we wouldn't have to worry about other religions, right? We're getting out because we don't do the work.
No, because
right?
they live by the same rules.
We don't do the work, right? This is why Christianity has been flat for the past 20 years, 30 years.
But wait, we all know the Good Samaritan story, right? And the point of it was about the very thing we're talking about. It was about not just the fact of a good deed. It was on behalf of the stranger, the hated immigrant. That is the point of that story.
Yeah, those stories are only good if those stories are only good if you actually are a practicing Christian. But we don't practice Christianity. We want a theocracy. We want a force. The same force that we're saying that they're doing to us, we want to do that to them.
Listen, on a service level, that's what it. I mean, in a sense, you could talk about the charitable aspect, but there's a whole different aspect because listen. When it comes to the immigration laws and not having people, I understand where the concept of you just not wanting these ordinances and these code of conducts being changed and everything, right? But all in all, I don't think that. Listen, look. What is this? This article says that Minneapolis becomes the first major UAD to broadcast Islamic prayer, the prayer 5 times per day. I think that needs to be in this country a ordinance? No, I don't think it should be. But do you really think that stricter immigration laws is going to stop this? Because I don't think that immigration has anything to do with them doing this shit.
Yes, it does. Who's bringing in and what they're bringing in, what ideas.
It's just certain people who believe in the Islamic faith, they got up in office and they started changing shit. So what? I mean, it's just like with Christians. Christians stuff.
Are they even all immigrants? You guys are assuming all these people are immigrants. They're all second and third generation.
Right, that's another good
living in America.
Which I see nothing wrong.
Yeah, you guys are assuming all these people in Minneapolis came from outside Minneapolis and changed the law. Who said that?
How many of them didn't, though? Because most of them did.
Do you have any evidence about that?
Away.
Do you have any evidence? There are multi-generational Muslim families living all across.
Prove your evidence that they're not immigrants.
You guys said.
I hear the Somalians bitch and complain about it all the time in their English second language accent.
No. You guys are the ones saying immigrants are coming over here changing the laws. So isn't it up on you?
You're the one
to provide the evidence. You guys said immigrants are coming over and changing the laws and changing the ordinance.
Is Bima here? Bima, this is the example of Stockholm Syndrome, okay? This is when you're dealing with the citizenry that you can tell them blatantly what the issue is, and they're like, well, prove it to me, show it to me. I just don't believe it.
That shouldn't be hard. If what you're saying is right.
How do you know they're not homegrown American Muslims that they're just participating in our democratic process and got their way, right? After all these years, Minneapolis.
Yep.
Because we're familiar with that because we're familiar with them dumping immigrants in Minneapolis in the 1990s. They were doing this. Minneapolis, we're familiar with these cities being quote unquote sanctuary cities, where they're inviting immigrants in to replace the citizenry. That's what they're doing.
So it should be easy to find some numbers about that.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Here,
if you're trying to make a point about the proportion of people in a city. No, I'm just asking a question. If you're trying to make a point about the proportion of people in a city and trying to make a point that all these people are moving in from outside of the country and changing the law, then shouldn't be too hard to find the numbers about the.
I've got an example. This has been bothering me for a few months now. This is what happens. Listen to this. Hamtramck, Michigan. These folks, these immigrant folks, got together. They went to city council. They got a permit. They got a permit to slaughter their goat animals in their personal property in their backyard for religious sacrifices. Now we got people doing, because of a religious sacrifice holiday, this particular thing they do, they're slaughtering goats in their backyards in Michigan, in their homes.
And we used to,
I don't want to live like this. This is not America.
We used to slaughter hogs and chickens. I don't understand the difference. On my farm.
It's a difference between a farm and a suburb.
What do you mean? I can, if I wanted to right now in my little.
Out with Billy in my backyard, I got this guy slaughtering.
But if I wanted to do it in my backyard right now, I could do it legally.
You guys, I'll tell you his problem. His problem is the ritual part of this. His problem is that Muslims are out here getting permits to do their Muslim shit. That's his problem.
Are they getting permission to do it?
No, the problem is mass migration.
How do they do things legally?
Suburban town.
I can do that. I can do that in my HOA community right now and slaughter a chicken and nobody would say nothing.
Ridiculous, bro.
No, you can't. You get the police all over you.
You wouldn't.
Hey, real quick. So, wait. So, real quick. So, like, I'm pretty sure that Joe. I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but I'm assuming that you are, right? Listen, the ritualistic practices that Clark is talking about is found in that same Bible that you read every day, right? So let's say
but you don't have Christians next door to me slaughtering the goat.
I mean, but let's say if they were slaughtering the firstborn of every
lamb, backward Muslim things.
Yeah, but let's say if they were doing that.
If you're going to call me out, and I wasn't even the one making the point about that, Sam made the point. But listen, it's very clear in the Bible about that we have nations. And to have nations, we have to have borders. And we need to regulate those borders. To hold against me my Christian faith, and that I'm supposed to just roll over and let immigrants in here without any sort of regulation to it, it becomes invasion.
Joe, who is advocating no borders? You're creating a strong man every time you talk.
Not at all. That would be the borderless society. The borderless.
Who's arguing for that, Joe?
Who's arguing for
George Soros.
In this room, who's arguing for that?
You're arguing. Hold on, Clark. You're arguing logical fallacies right now. To demand statistics when I'm citing
that's a logical fallacy. To ask for evidence. What are you talking about, dude?
No, so demand that I have to back every point I make with statistics, or just say you're now moving the goalposts when I clearly cited George Soros's Open Society Foundation.
That's not evidence. I didn't ask for evidence. I didn't ask about that.
Okay.
You were making a point about
you must struggle with political discussion. Right? Are you new to this?
I think everybody listening can see what you're struggling with here, dude.
George Soros is. You're just interrupting me. So George Soros is one of the largest funders of Democrat policies. He is advocating for having an open border. He is responsible for largely over the last 20 years this narrative about Americans and that Americans aren't good enough to be able to fill these jobs, that we have to be able to open these borders up and let people cross or hold it against the Christians of America. This is what George Soros and his Open Society. Are you familiar with the Open Society Foundation?
I've heard the name, but I disagree with all of that. I'm not advocating for what George Soros advocates for. I disagree.
I have a question that was posed.
Oh, okay. You disagree. Thanks for your
I have a question that was posed by somebody else, right? Because the largest growing group in this country is actually not Muslims, right? Nor do I think they're the biggest threat to this country. Largest growing group in this country is actually, why aren't Christians up in arms about godless people? We're such a Christian nation.
Hey, Finley, Mr. Finley, can I answer that too?
Believe in Christian beliefs, even if they don't believe in God. That's why.
Okay, but watch this though. But real quick, just to build on what Mr. Finley said, right? Now, here's the thing, right? Because I think there's a certain narrative that, for me, when I look at the statistics and look at what I see personally, because I mean, you have to combine statistics, also your own, perspective on things, right? What you're saying. I don't see, I mean, and don't get it twisted, I have seen one Muslim do something up here, but, based off what I believe, I don't think he did anything wrong, but, but let's just deal with this, right? With Muslims, I see too many crimes being committed by actual Muslims, right? No matter what sect of Islamic faith that they believe in this specifically in this country. But when it comes to crimes, right, committed by certain people, some of them either are Christian or, like you said, there's some people can be atheists, but they follow a certain level of Christianity, like a Christian belief, right? So all I'm saying is that if we like what Mr. Finley said, I'm gonna land here. I do think that we have to look at it from that standpoint. There's more people who identify Christian that are committing more crimes than Muslims, and yet people say that Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. So to me, I think we have to look at that from that standpoint and really focus our targets and angers on an objective standpoint instead of a subjective standpoint targeting Muslim.
What are you, a Farrakhan supporter? What is wrong?
Yeah, I don't know where you found your stats.
Jeez, man.
What religion the person is that?
How many heard about Islam in prison with Mike Tyson and Malcolm X?
Yeah.
How many motherfuckers?
I will say this, and I'll pat back. They have higher marriage rates, lower prison rates, educational attainment as a group. And I said this earlier. Problem with my fellow Christians, we don't work.
What work do you do?
I'm a pastor's kid that mentors. I give away about 30% of my income. I help run our food shelter once a month because of my work schedule. I would do it more. Other than that, I'm also my pastor's honor. Should I continue? Should I name the multitude of freaking charities that I give to?
Mr. Finley, you should.
And the fact that I've written checks to four young men to get their private pilot's license.
I don't think you're doing enough.
So, Mr. Finley,
no, Finley, I don't think you're doing enough.
Yeah. I hate it when people do that. What are you doing? Come on, me and my fellow Christians.
No. It's okay. So let's ask the question, because you asked earlier the American value system. Do you remember that?
I said, what is American culture?
Yeah, what is it? Do you know what you would call it?
It's a very long list. American culture goes from everything from country music to hip hop. Everything from apple pie to freaking fried chicken. All that is American culture.
Hey, I heard you, Mr. Finn. I'm not gonna let people gloss over all the good deeds and good that you do, man. Keep doing you, man. It's not enough good folks in the world, man. Shout out to you, man.
Thank you, Himothy. Good to see you. So, Mr. Finley, you go on. I just want to make sure you and I are on the same page, all right? So, for me, the value, the culture of the United States of America is our 3 founding documents, okay? That's number 1. Individual liberty is our culture. Equality under the law is our culture. Opportunity and upward mobility is our culture. Religious freedom, giving people the opportunity to believe what they want to in this country, whether you say that Christians are not doing their part or not. You don't know what all Christians are doing, but you personally say things that are different. What about entrepreneurship and innovation in a country that we're only 4% of the world population, but we do 25% of the GDP worldwide? Self-government is another one of our cultural beliefs, okay? And for me, that's the biggest one, because the only person I get to govern is Edward. And what we like to do is believe that we have some rule over someone else. I have no rule over my mayor. my senator, my congressman or woman here in the state of California, nor the governor. They're supposed to be representing Edward. Okay.
So what's the issue with Muslims, Edward? We have it. I'm not saying you. I'm saying what is the opposition to Muslims? They're practicing their religion. They're freely practicing their religion.
Well, okay, hold on. You asked me a question. Let me answer it. Okay. The opposition with Muslims is they do not like the American foundation and the way of life in America. They do not come here and assimilate to our documents. They do not.
Explain to me how they don't.
It's called the Crusades. Hello.
I'm having a conversation with Edward. If he thinks that I'm being bad faith or I'm interrupting, he'll tell me.
Yes, you're correct. So I would like, and I have Muslims. I work with both Sunni and Shiite because I'm in death care. Okay. They do not want to adhere to the American 3 documents. When I ask them what truths they hold to be self-evident, they don't know that. Okay. They immigrate here, but they don't assimilate here. Okay. And are there any Muslims in this?
You haven't demonstrated how. You're just saying that they do. You haven't demonstrated how.
Wait, Mr. Finley. When I say how, do you think it's important for a person who wants to come to another country to participate in their founding? No. Could you hold on?
Edward, I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying you've not exhibited how they don't, because they freely exercise their religion. They're not breaking our laws. I don't understand how they're not adhering to the documents.
Okay.
Because most Americans, I would argue, couldn't even tell you that our documents.
Okay. Well, you know what? Okay. So are we going to talk about what Americans are doing? Or are you?
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Mr. Finley, I'm going to share the same thing. You have elected officials in the United States Congress, okay, who want to blame America, and they happen to be Muslim, and they don't want to adhere to our documents. That means when Muslims come on our soil, and this is the big thing for me, why don't Muslims move to other Muslim countries? Why do they want to come to a country?
Lots of them move to other
Muslim countries.
Right. Crazy.
Right.
Can I finish? Guys, listen, we know other Muslims move to other countries, but my question is, it's really simple. Apart from us being Judeo-Christian, the West, could you tell me, Mr. Finley, what do you believe that Muslims have in common with the Western way of life?
We're having a different conversation because we just switched subjects. Right?
Conversation.
We're having a different conversation. I said, demonstrate to me how they don't adhere to the documents that you named. Now you're asking me why. Now you're asking me why they moved to America for the same reason that many people moved to America: the freedom to practice your own religion, the freedom, right? The economic opportunities. That's why people come here. But they don't just come here to go to other Muslim countries. But you're yet to show me how
Mr.
show
Finley,
me how they don't adhere to those things. You have yet to show me that.
Mr. Finley, I just said to you, individual liberty. Do you believe that they believe that you as an American, and Joe just pointed out to you that if a city in Minnesota allows them to blow the horn 5 times a day, that means they don't want to adhere to the American way of life.
What do you mean the American way of life? They got the law changed. What does that even mean? There are Amish that don't freaking use electricity. That ain't the American way of life. And I wouldn't live in that community.
Mr. Finley, can I ask you a question? Just one question, Mr. Finley.
Go ahead.
What truths do you hold to be self-evident?
We're switching the subject. My question to you was...
I'm asking a different question. I already gave you a question.
I don't want to quote... I do not need to quote our founding documents respectfully. The challenge was on you to show me how Muslims to American way of life. And you have yet to demonstrate this or adhere to our founding documents. You have yet to this. You're switching the conversation.
No, I'm not, Mr. Finley. Mr. Finley, I'm going to say this again. If I know that a Muslim is here to promote Islam, Sharia law, how to do everything to change
Sharia
America
law, there it is.
They're not promoting Sharia law in America.
Oh my God. Mr. Finley.
Of course they are.
I just want to, no, hold on.
No,
Mr.
they
Finley.
are not.
Yes, they are.
They are.
they get around that.
I'll say you guys, the guy
Is your evidence that they've got 5 times a day? Is that what you think Sharia law is? About 5 times a day? Because it's not.
No. Okay, Daniel, thank you.
It's part of it.
I don't know.
It's not part of Sharia law.
Yes, it is.
Jews pray like 4 or 5 times a day, and so do some Christians.
Yeah, they don't put a
So
big
do some
speaker and tell the whole
Christians.
neighborhood to come pray, though. That's the big
They tell the neighborhood that it's around the mosque, which is where they live. It's no different than my church ringing the bell to come to church.
We need to.
But he hasn't. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna let Edward and Finley finish this, and then I want to address Finley, and then we'll go to the rest of the state.
Go ahead, Edward.
About that, Mr.
The mic is yours. The mic is yours, Edward. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the difference is that when we talk about, and you gave me a very good thing, good question, okay? So if I know that the American way of life is important, right? And how do Muslims differ, a uniform group of people, okay, and how they do not adhere to our way of life, their religion and their laws, okay? A lot of their communities right now are operating under what we talked about, the prayer, interrupting other Americans when they're sleeping, okay? And I've been to Muslim countries, but they do it here in the United States. Some Muslim communities, I got it, buddy. Some Muslim communities favor more distinct roles for men and women, where we give our women the opportunity to be what they want, right? Women get up and do whatever they want. They may either dress more modestly and different things like that. They don't like the way we do that. Now, in some areas of New York, there are times where you cannot have alcohol, you cannot have pork, you can't be in sexuality. These are some of the things that Muslims have done in areas. And their religious commitment is a lot different than what we have here in the West. So those are some things I point out for you, okay?
So the Amish do the same thing, right? Some Jewish groups do the same thing, right? They women can't do everything. They got to dress a certain way. They don't believe in premarital sex like we allow other groups to do this, but we have this hyper.
They don't make exceptions for them.
They do make for them. You can ride horse and buggy in freaking India. They do. You can. Let me say this. I'll finish my point, Odie. In certain parts of freaking Indiana, horse and buggy can ride down the freaking highway, and you have to yield to them. You cannot move them out of the way. Like that's them. They went to the local government and said, "Hey, this is our way of life. Can we live this way?" And they changed the laws to adhere to that. That's annoying. It's annoying.
What law did they change? Because they still have to adhere to the same traffic law.
No, yes, but they can do horse and buggy at very low speeds. So the minimum speeds that were eliminated in those areas, and on the 2-lane highway, if there's traffic come, you're stuck. You gotta wait. You gotta sit there and wait.
They never introduced a higher minimum speed in those areas because of the Amish. The Amish were already there when they started bringing higher speed roads into those regions. But look, Mr. Finley, I got to address this with you. You're very quick to chastise Americans and Christians, and demeaning us, saying, and you're generalizing, not anyone here personally, but you're demeaning to the general American that we're not smart enough, that we're not qualified enough, and that we don't have enough faith in Jesus Christ. But man, I got to tell you, you got right here on this stage and started bragging about all of what you've done. And
someone asked me.
I think you.
I wasn't bragging. Someone asked me.
No, that was bragging. And
no, it wasn't. Someone asked me what I do. I didn't bring that up. Someone asked me what I do.
I asked you.
I answered the question. It wasn't me bragging. You asked the question.
It was bragging. And it seems like you have this moral superiority.
I don't have a moral superiority. I just want my family members to do better.
I wanted to read to you, Matt, just real quick, it's 3 verses. Matthew 6, 2 through 4. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets to be honored.
I know the scripture, Joe. You don't have to read me the scripture. I didn't announce it on the hills. You asked me to answer the question.
They have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. But you stood on this stage right here and you chastised Christians, saying that we don't do enough. And then I asked you, what did you do? And then you went on to brag about all that you do.
No, I didn't go on to brag.
But you did ask him, Joe.
I didn't go on to brag, Joe. You literally asked me.
Well, if
I would have said nothing.
Oh my God.
Hold on. To be consistent, it very easily would be to say, hey, look, I do stuff for my community, but I don't do enough. Instead, that wasn't your position. Instead, you have this ego, this bragging upon you, this moral superiority complex, because you're a pilot and you're all these great things, and you brag about how much you help other people. But yeah, everyone else in this country does not. The general population, well, they're just these, poor, low IQ, white trash.
Now you're just making up stuff.
Now you're just making it up.
You're just making up stuff. I never said any of that.
How are you turning
You get my point, Mr.
He doesn't
Finley.
like black people.
Joe, respectfully, I didn't brag about nothing. You asked me. And on this stage, in context, right, in a stage of maybe, about 50 people in here? In context, my response was that way because I felt like you were going to say, well, you don't do enough either. And so I beat you to the punch, right? And me criticizing my fellow Americans is no different than me having a high standard to the people that have my last name. My kids, I will have a high standard for them. It is right for me to say, hey, listen, you need to live up to the standard, especially if my children are beating their chest about how great they were. That is the biggest problem with my country. It's okay. It'd be okay if my country, but no, we say we're the greatest country in the world. We say we're the light on the hill. We say that. We say that. I am simply challenging us to live up to those standards. And we claim that we are a Christian nation. So if we are, then we need to be doing the work. That is me challenging it's not me saying we're hating my country. I want us to live up to the standard that we said that we are. If we're going to be on the soapbox and beat our chest, we darn well better be ready to back it up. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And I always say we. Let me say this. Let me land here. And I always say we. I never exclude myself from the we. Never.
You did.
I did not. I did not exclude myself.
How we got to that point is you chastised Americans for our we claim to be a Christian faith or a Christian country. Listen to what I'm saying. However, we don't do enough for these immigrants. You get what I'm saying?
I said it clearly. I included myself. I said we.
Okay. So, but you didn't go on to lead to tell us anything about what you did for immigrants.
Why did I need to? Because I said we are failing.
Because that's what you were chastising us in our Christian faith.
Joe, it's a lose-lose then. If I would have led by saying I do all of these great things, that's me bragging, right? And the left hand note what I'm doing, right? It's a lose-lose, Joe.
Okay, you can see that you were bragging. I know you.
It's crazy how everybody's turning on him because he questioned this narrative.
You should have stuck to the Christian standard.
No one's turning on him. No one's turning on him.
Mr. Finley, listen, he tricked you, Finley. The reality is, no, Mr. Finley, he tricked you. You should have stuck to your Christian values, but you deviated from that too, because you know you should conceal what you do to charity. You know that.
Resistance in context. In context.
It doesn't matter if you know that. You should have concealed it.
In the
context, that's what a true Christian does.
Listen,
giver to charity does.
In the context of this,
reveal that to others.
In the context of this conversation, God is not going to look down at me and say, "Hey, shame on you," because I don't beat my chest about what I do.
Actually, bro, he would shame on both of you because you know how you both talking in vanity right now.
Okay, so Mr. Resistance, 1 second. Okay, so Mr. Finley, I really enjoy our exchange, our discord. So my question, I put it in the chat for you, and I want you to answer the question for me and tell me if it's reality, right? And correct me if I'm wrong here. It says, how can America defend itself against Islamist ideology while vigorously protecting the Constitution of Americans without this ideology? How can we do that?
What do you mean? How do we defend ourselves against radical ideology? There is no right. There's no radical Islam threat in America.
There's no radical Islam threat in the United States.
No.
There's radical Christianity and Judaism in America. I know that much.
This is so strange, man. And this is what makes me sad. So you don't see people saying that they want Sharia law in your country.
Who wants Sharia laws? Bro, this is insane.
No, shut up, please. I know you Muslims very well. Please, you guys.
And we know you African Christians very well. We know you African Christians very well. We know you guys lie on your ass.
Let him speak.
Okay, we're gonna let Odie talk.
Thank you.
And whoever interrupts him is going in the goo.
Again, so I don't know. Nobody here has lived in a Sharia country. I've lived in Sharia. So let me give an example. Mr. Finn, I'm kind of sad. So let me give an example. We have Jews in America, right? You have Indians. The Jewish people don't eat pork. The Jewish people don't go to your school boards, like what happened in Maryland, and tell people that they must change their dieting habits. You know what they do? They create their own schools. They pack their own lunches. But in Maryland here, in Montgomery County, Muslims went on a protest against what people are eating. Oh, you don't want pork in your food. They wanted to create a halal meat. They want people to change their ways because of them. Nobody is forcing you to eat haram food. Nobody is forcing you. You can always pack your lunch. There are videos of people. I don't like the American diet. So let me put it this way. Should the Indians in America wake up and say, oh, we don't eat beef. We worship cows. Stop eating beef. So imagine if every group in America wakes up to start saying that they should feed or they should do things according to how they feel or their religious or traditional dictates. So that's one aspect. Now, people talk about Sharia. There's enough videos of people calling for Sharia in America. In fact, one of the reasons why I'm not supporting Al Said is that he has made it known with his own mouth that Sharia is obligatory. Now, what is the problem with Sharia and the American Constitution? That they can never mix. Even Nigeria, where I'm from originally, the secular law, they can. Why? Because the problem with Sharia is that it is a cause of the Ummah. It is both a jurisprudence and a lifestyle. Mr. Philly, you have the American Constitution. The American Constitution tells you, this is what I should do. This is how we should do it. If you have a problem, go to court. The Sharia is a jurisprudence, meaning that, for example, for even the civil matters, sharing of properties, how you should divorce your wife, is just a whole jurisprudence that tells you how you should live your life. How, in that context, is it compatible with the West? When you hear people in America say, no, we want to be governed by a jurisprudence that is totally parallel to the American Constitution. So again, if you guys think that it's a joke, I come from a country and I saw how they behave. They lie to you. They tell you things. Let me give an example. Haram. Music is haram in Islam. But you see the Muslims laughing and joking with you. You think that you're not wise up. Music is haram in Islam. Music haram in Islam. It's my opinion. I've read the Quran too. I've read almost all the hadiths. So again, the question is, what society do you want America to be? That's right. I am an immigrant. I am Igbo. I have my own traditional practices. I am sure you don't want me imposing and bringing my traditional practices to you to adopt or make a separate way. Now, the Muslims in America want America to give them a separate, they want to have a subgroup, meaning Muslims in America subgroup. Let every subgroup in America do that. Let all the Igbo Nigerians do that. Let all the Yoruba Nigerians that you know about do that. Let everybody do that in America. You will not have a society. So what am I saying? I'm saying that if you come to America, like they say, if you go to Rome, you behave like the Romans. If you come to America, the country that has welcomed you, the richest Palestinians are in America. The richest Muslims are in America. You, Mr. Finn, you can never go to Qatar, the rich Muslim countries, and make any noise or demand for any equity. But they do it in America. So I give America its props. So if you feel that there's no influence or there's nothing going on, if there's anything I'm going to be right on, and I've told people that call me Islamophobe, on the Islam issue, I'll be right. In 5 years, I will remind all of you people of what we were saying. Thank you very much.
So, Odie, hold on. I haven't spoken. Can I speak then?
I can wait. Go ahead. I can wait.
Thank you. I just wanted to I won't even be long. I'll give it to you, Finley, because I know you're the focal point of the room right now for some reason. All right, now let me educate this African man that knows nothing of not only the America and the founding fathers, definitely knows nothing, or he's just a liar, which I'm pretty sure he is. First of all, in Islam, it is the law in the Sharia for the Muslims, according to the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, that a Muslim who lives in any land is to abide by that land's laws. So according to the Sharia, Muslims, whether they're in America, whether they're in Europe, they cannot impose the Sharia in that law. They must follow the law's land. That's what Islam teaches. That's number one. Number two, I know he didn't know this because he's typical dumb black guy. African. Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers of America. Go read for once, sir. Go read up some history. Not only had 2 Qurans in the White House, but when they were constructing the Constitution and many laws in the first 13, Thomas Jefferson referred to the Quran and Islamic laws. Sharia law is compatible with America because just like a thief here shouldn't be stealing, it is the same in Islam. This is where they got some of these laws from because Islam was civilized far before the Western and the Europeans were. We had the science. We taught algebra and astrology. We're the ones who brought the mathematics. We're the ones who had running water and sewer systems in the 7th and 8th century, not America, not Europe. So once again, go educate yourself instead of being here and being a typical liar. And last point, in America, go look this up yourself. In America, in most public schools, because see, Muslims have private schools too. I don't think he knows that. They have their own Islamic schools, so yes, they can do what they want there. Their own dietary, their own curriculum, Quran, and then regular mathematics, whatever the case may be. But so do the Jews. And the Jews and the Muslims, they do go to public schools. Guess what? They all demand kosher there too. So stop being a liar and a hypocrite. These are things that all religious factions, especially ones that actually follow their, like the Christian and Catholic savages that practice homosexuality and eat pork even though they didn't do it. You guys have the issue, not the Muslims. The Muslims are fine with following the rules of here. That's why we're here. You're just mad that we're taking over because we have more respect and more dignity and we actually do more work than you lying Christians that held mayor status in New York City, for example, for generations and did shit with it. The Mondani makes you look like the Christian scums in our land.
There you go, folks. So,
He got through the gates.
I was gonna ask Odie a question.
No, hold on. Before you ask
I can
a
wait.
question, is it okay for me to go, Joe?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead. No, thank you. So resistance, it's kind of interesting. Instead of you attacking Odin's point, you decide to call everybody out of character. So I don't know if you know this, but there's major legislation right now in 32 different states here in the United States, right now in America, that's pushing back on all of these different opposing directions of Muslims in America. 32. Okay, there's different measures that are being pushed because what they're trying to do is enforce their religious law into American Constitution. Okay, so they pushed back. I got it, Daniel. Why don't you look it up, Daniel?
No, they're not. Okay. That's stupid texting them, trying to put in laws that don't make sense. Because there is no
constitutional amendments.
Can I finish?
You're talking about constitutional amendments. Do you know how the Constitution works?
Clark, first of all, you got to understand, Clark, why would we need it? I don't know why you guys just let somebody just share, okay? There's major legislation being moved around, and we've considered this. Why? Because we got a lot of...
Because you a bitch. Got him.
You didn't get me, but thanks. You got yourself. But it's kind of interesting. Why do you think these states are passing these laws? Now, if the Muslims in the United States want to practice Sharia law in their own environments, religiously, they can do that. But the moment that they start to take this outside of their own group of people and try to put this in an American culture way, and they want to do it in our schools, in our laws. And some of you say, oh, they go to their own private schools. They don't all go to their own private schools. So, and I'm going to say this, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong. How many of us in this President Trump house, okay? Yes, we can talk facts, Daniel, because Daniel, I don't know if you like America or not, but if you believe that America should defend itself, both Islam is political. Yeah, you got it, 1,000%. I just ask us all this question. Do we believe that Islam, okay, the nature of Islam, the theocracy, is compatible to the Western way of life of individual freedom, peace, and you governing your own life? So I would like for anyone to answer that question.
Yeah, it is, because there's plenty of people who practice Islam since the inception of America. So hold on, let me say this. There's people who have practiced Islam since the inception of America and have been here. So to suggest that somehow Islam is somehow in against the standards of America, which is built on religious freedom, is crazy. Like there's an extremist sect of everything when it comes to religion. We know that. And unfortunately, that particular religion gets branded for its extremist sect far more. I don't know how many people you know that are actually Muslim, but a lot, man, they're definitely a much more peaceful people than they give credit for.
That's not true, but okay.
So, Odie, I wanted to ask you a question.
Totally true. And when you demonize one religion, hold on, let me just say this and I'll get right off. If you demonize excuse me, sir, you got to speak quite a bit. If you demonize one single religion, even atheists, if you demonize one form of belief in America, you're no longer America.
I just want to answer your question, because you said,
hold on. I'm gonna let you go.
No,
Daniel,
okay. We can play with this. We can play with
no,
this.
Daniel, I want to ask Daniel a question. Daniel, how did I demonize one religious group? Please explain that to me.
Daniel, don't answer that question.
No, you pose the question.
He wasn't
answering his question.
He wasn't posing that you particularly.
You aren't his lawyer. Go ahead.
No, because I'm trying to. How did I say something right then?
I'm ready to answer. I'll answer the question. I'm bringing up the point precisely in what he's saying and telling me not to answer it to make the case. The entire conversation is about special attention to the threat of Muslims, okay? So it's not a question of whether you're really just yourself in this particular word or that particular word demonizing. There's a generality that there's something wrong with this religion versus all the others.
No, we never said religion.
Daniel, hold on. Let me just respond to Daniel. Daniel, I agree with you. As an American, I have a right to point out any foreign or domestic thing that goes against our three documents.
That's a lie. They don't allow you to do it for Israel.
Why would they allow people who are?
Can I finish?
Why would they allow politicians?
I want to honor you. You have a total right, Edward. I really respect Edward, and you do have a right to your opinions. I'm just commenting that from where I sit, anytime you are going to, I use the word demonize, you can use anything else you want pejorative. If you highlight a particular religion as a threat, I do not think you have the essence of America any longer.
Okay, so Daniel.
Also, Edward has yet to demonstrate to me how they're doing
it. Like that we don't.
Can I finish?
America.
You guys got I let him land. Can Daniel and I have this exchange for one moment, please? Just one moment, guys. Okay, there's no awards here. No one's going to win any awards, okay? So, Daniel, I'm going on the fact that we have 32 states that are actually passing legislation so that we, as an American, can continue our way of life and not have a group of people or a religious order to come and try to change our documentation as the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and which is most important, right? Our Declaration of Independence. I would like for people to come to America and assimilate into the United States of America. Now, if you want to keep your way of life, that's different. But for us to all sit here and believe, okay, worldwide, and you correct me, Daniel, worldwide, why do some of the Muslim countries don't accept other Muslims, but yet because America have very little backbone to push back on ideologies that don't support our country, that's where I have a problem with. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
Yeah, so your problem with all Muslims. Ideology. So your problem.
Are you ready for me and you now, Mr. Finley?
Are fair game.
Yeah,
that's your problem, Edward.
They're fair game to everybody, man. Let's not move.
Okay, so the S is that all Muslims are fair game. All Muslims need to be fought against because, as you just said, their ideology is not compatible.
Yes,
you just said it.
So,
that means the Muslims are. That means
Three-Crusade War.
I'll just.
Can I say
I'll just
something?
finish the point.
No,
I'll just finish the
one
point.
second.
I'll just finish the
Can I say
point.
something, guys?
No, I'll just. Yeah, I just. Every single Muslim.
Just hold on. We're going to go to a queue. I just can't do this, like, off mic, just 30, 40 people talking. So, Edward and then Clark are having an exchange.
Then I am Mr. Finley.
We'll go. You go after their exchange. Yeah, that's fine.
No, Mr. Finley wanted to speak to me. Wanted us to have an exchange.
I like cats.
And then you go after their exchange. Go ahead. Go ahead, Edward and Clark.
So Clark.
I was just making that point, Edward.
Yes.
And then I'll hear your response. That means that all the law-abiding Muslims that we know in society, that means you raise suspicions about all of them because all of them are harboring this ideology, as you described, incompatible with the American way of life. All of them, every single Muslim is suspicious. Every single one is a potential terrorist. That's what we mean when we say you're demonizing. Because now all of them are criminals, and that paves the way for any unjustified act against any of them. That's what you're doing here.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate telling me what I'm doing, okay? I'm going to say to you, Clark, that I do have a right to be cautious of any group of people, whether you call it collective group, all of the group, or one person in the group. It only takes one person to do something radical, okay? I got it. You're right, Daniel. I'm going to say it. Now, you don't have to like the fact that I'm coming back on it, but at the same time, because I was born in the United States, I have a different philosophy than Islamic and Muslim world. I don't believe in theocracy. I don't believe I want to die to go see 72 virgins. I don't believe that I should have a whole group of people who have decided to go against the West. If I have countries saying death to America, want to move to America, I have an issue with that. In Clark, as an American, do I not have a right to voice that opinion?
If you have the right to voice,
I just have one question. Can I ask this? If not, I just leave the room because I just have one question.
Yeah. Just give me a sec, because a lot of what you just said, Edward, is completely false. Not all Muslims believe in this 70s bullshit. Not all Muslims are Muslims of America. Like, you're creating Muslims.
You're in the zone.
You're in the matrix.
No connection to reality.
You're in the matrix. Let's let you've been trying to get in. Odie.
Yeah, I got
Joe. Can I go after the last person, man?
Yeah. Well, I got you. Can you? We'll go right to you. Just hold on. I got to correct the founding. Look, 97% of the country was Christian at the founding of this country. And there were numerous states that had religious requirements to hold office in the state governments that you had to be Christian. So to act like at the founding, it's always been this way. It hasn't. The secularists have chipped away at this over the years. The Quran, while it was cited by Thomas Jefferson for, and he was asked and challenged about would also the government not be able to set laws against the practice of Islam?
in this nation, in the United States, and he said no, they wouldn't be able to do that. That's what he's referencing. But the government is not based on Islam whatsoever. It's Israel and the Anglo-Saxons. Anyhow, I'll pass it over to
Joe. That is such a hold on. That is just such a huge claim.
I'll just clarify my point because I was telling to Edward, the reason why you're demonizing what you're saying is actually you're allowed to hold any opinion you want, but the reason why that's demonization is because almost everything you just said about Muslims in your sentence was false. Not all Muslims believe in the 72 virgins bullshit. Not all Muslims believe in death to America. There are multi-generational Muslim families in America that love their country. That serve in the
There you
US
go,
Army, that serve in
assimilation.
the US police.
Assimilation.
Okay,
Hello.
yeah,
That's
Mr.
fine.
Finley, Mr. Finley.
So why,
Okay.
I'm sorry. So why 9/11, 26/11, all the bombings have to be done by Muslims? Tell me.
Let's
sorry,
leave
but
that
why?
aspect. Let's leave that aspect. That's even too far. Mr. Finley, let's go. You asked me.
So you said that because I was trying to look up the incidents in which the Muslims protested, right? Because I was going to say that's practicing American. That's literally it's in the First Amendment, right? It's in the First Amendment, right? They were bringing up the Muslims.
Why are we all scared of? Why are we all scared of bombings and hijacks and everything?
Because
You're
it's
scared
those
because you're ignorant.
But I don't know why. I'm not scared of any of those things, and I fly planes. But we do that. We switch groups first of all. Muslims are just the latest of the groups that we don't like. But I have yet to have I have yet to have Edward show me how they exhibit something that's incongruent with the founding documents. Right. Also, we're not a freaking Judeo-Christian nation. Greed is not Christian. Neither is same-sex marriage or sex before marriage. None of these things are Christian. None of these things. Neither is like the lust or the sex or the sex selling. None of these things are Christian. But anyway, I want to ask Odie a question. Odie, what incident are you talking about? Because I was trying to look it up because all I saw was a protest. And I'm like, that's normal. Protesting is American.
I said that in Montgomery County, they decided that they want kosher food. Halal food. Like it happens. I read that in the news on WZB. This happened maybe like 6 years ago or 5 years ago during Biden's time.
Yeah, but that's not abnormal.
All right, we're gonna get new people in. Just the same people over and over.
Okay, let me just
Okay,
make my comments.
I got one. We're done. We're done with that.
Thank you, God. New people.
1 minute, 1 minute max. No, 1 minute.
You go after I. You go after I. It's okay. We got your voice. It's good. Go ahead. You're trying to get in. Like, go ahead and get it out.
Can I speak now?
I like cats.
Yeah, don't interrupt her. Don't do it. Go ahead.
Okay. So, I know you guys don't know, but India and Pakistan were like a same country before 1947, and the Britishers ruled India for 200 years, and then, whatever, they just decided that India and Pakistan are gonna be two countries, separate countries, right? Since then, there has been Islamic invasion in our country where so like I'm a Hindu, I know like most people know don't know about it, but I'm not Islamist. So like Islamists come, they rape our women, they kill our women, they cut the wombs of a women who are pregnant, they take the fetus out of like womb and just throw it away and whatnot, okay? But I still feel there must be some Muslims, right? They are not like culprit or whatever. Fine. Now, I feel like India is I don't know what's the reason because I feel like if India had the power of US, it would fucking kill Pakistan. I don't know the reasons why India is not retaliating Pakistan, which is fine. I feel like amongst all the countries in the world, US citizens has the most power in their country. Why don't you guys tell the Trump or the prevailing government like stop fucking giving visas? Hindus, Muslims, Jews, whatever, just stop letting people come into our country. I just need answer for that. See, it's the same. If guests are coming to my house and I'm like, come, and I'm like, I don't want guests. So like, there's no point of complaining, right? When I'm fucking inviting the guests in my house. Why don't you guys actually, being a US citizen, tell your government, like protest or do whatever, like stop giving the visas? Why don't you guys do it? I just answer. And please no hate, sorry. I really want to know this.
Okay,
That's why we voted for Trump.
Odie, do you want to answer it, Odie?
No. So let me just simply respond to resistance. So,
Okay.
I mean, Thomas Jefferson, who reading the Quran, I've read the Quran 3 times. Does that make me a Muslim? So, Mr. Finley, you see, you guys don't have a come to Jesus moment. So let's look at America, right? You see, whenever the natives stop, we get angry with them. But let's call the country Bahrain, Oman. I've been to those countries. Bahrain, Oman. I'm calling the rich Muslim nations, including the theocrats and the ones that are practicing some pseudo-democracy. They don't give Christians freedom. You're not allowed free practice as a Christian. In fact, if you're a Christian, then when I was a diplomat, if they post you to those countries as a Christian, they call it a hardship post. So already, they're already demonizing you as someone that is not a practicer of their faith. So what is the big deal? You're making it seem like people waking up is like a problem. For example, if you're a Jewish person, there are 13 Arab countries you can't visit. You're already demonized. So what is the big deal about demonizing? Like they don't do it to people that are not Muslims. So that's a weak argument. I don't believe in it. 2, this is very simple. If the issue is all about people are bad, Americans are bad, how come we're having the same problems in Sweden, Belgium, Denmark, Norway, Germany? The reason why the CDU, the Christian Democratic Union, lost the elections in Germany was because of the Syrians, the Muslims. So
people in this panel calling me. Wait. This doctor is saying I can freely express myself. So if I want to say that, I don't give a fuck about no dumb curry foreign bitch. I can say what the fuck I want to say. Then this woman is like, wait, isn't she here on a visa? Like, so much hate, bro. Like, go on, but this is dumb.
Okay, so let me finish up. So if that's the argument, so how come it is widespread? Is it that there's American right-wing propaganda or what? Or do you think that my view of Islam is because of America? I lived in Nigeria till I was 30-something if I said to move to America. I lived in a Sharia state. I've been to, and I've seen what it is. They hide and pretend and tell you, oh, no worries, they have freedom. The same freedom that you as a Christian will not be accosted in their countries. So again, like I said, you can continue to eat the humble pie, drink the Kool-Aid. On this matter, I will be right. And I will laugh at you guys.
No,
Morgan,
resistance.
Morgan, come here.
Why do you keep saying me to hold on and I'm the one that's been quiet the most? All of you run your mouths.
Oh, okay. Resistance. Do me a favor.
Listen,
I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak, but no, I. 1 second, I. Will you mute I, please? So go ahead, resist. I'm gonna let you go. I go after you. Okay, sir?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I just like talking behind Odie because it's easy to debunk his idiotic nonsense and his lies. Anyone could go, once again, look this up yourselves. These are these fake Christians that claim this Christian Judeo, union with Israel and, westernized society. But check out these numbers. Very easy to, like I said, get yourself. Israel has approximately anywhere from 150 to 200,000 Christians. They've demolished churches. They have exiled many Christians from their villages and from their homes, and they persecute them. Christians, supposedly, Judeo-Christian values. But yet, when you go to, for example, countries as the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, the Gulf states. Here's some numbers for you. In the United Arab Emirates, almost 1 million Christians are there. Multiple churches have been built there for Christian worshipers. They have the same rights as anyone else in the country because the country is not governed by Sharia. They have their own secular laws. That's number one. Saudi Arabia, 1.3 to 2 million Christians are in Saudi Arabia, the home of the Muslims. They are also having their places of worship and they follow the laws there and they are treated as equal citizens. You go to Kuwait, anywhere from 700 to 800,000 Christians. Qatar, 500,000. Bahrain, 400,000. Oman, 200,000. So when you hear these nonsense about how Christians are treating or getting persecuted in countries that are populated by Muslims, because they're not Muslim countries, as he tries to say, or Islamic countries, because they're not, most of those countries are not governed by the Sharia. Everyone knows this who has a brain to go, research.
These are just these Islamophobes such as yourself. If you want to be gay and eat pork and do all the things that Christianity is against, you can do it. We're fine with that. But you won't do it in a God-fearing state where there are actually people who practice it.
Right here, this is the person who wanted to try to destroy everything Chicago Bills Red is doing for the citizens and the people of Chicago. This person right here is the one. After everything he had done, shiesty and haven't been anything for the people, and this person right here beside me to say, yup, I'm gonna go after Chicago Bills Red.
Got any comments? This was your article, yes.
Oh, it's Owen. Yeah, no, yeah, we have to have the commentary track. Thanks for having me on. A lot of comments because, hello?
Yeah.
But a lot of comments. One comment is, you see what's on his lip in that photo. That's comment number one. Comment number two, he just, he's like just, he loses a bunch of cases. It wasn't just COVID. It wasn't just the guns. He just recently lost a Terry Newsom sexual stalking lawsuit a few months ago. So Tom is pretty impressive in like how he's able to lose but still like show up and still claim to be a lawyer. Like it's pretty impressive that he wasn't suspended for a longer time than just a couple months. And that happened after this article came out. He ended up getting suspended for a lot of the incidents that were described.
Was described, yeah, and he's still walking around with his. How do you? Are you familiar with Tom DeVore? Like, how long have you known him as a person in politics? What do you think of Tom?
So I knew since 2022, and I knew of him a little bit before because he did become famous through COVID and the lawsuits. So anyone who just doesn't read the headline, this is clownish. So putting on blast, he's on TV, actually reading what's going on. Like, wow, this was the only person I know who's benefited from COVID or from the strict gun laws in Chicago. Because most of the people I know that are a victim of gun laws are either shot or in jail for having a gun. Meanwhile, Tom DeVore is making $700,000 or whatever it is. But I knew him in 2022, and this is kind of briefly discussed in the article, but I didn't really go too deep into it. But the reason why I stopped interacting with the reason why I kind of had a bad taste of Tom DeVore is because he would always be at most of the events I saw politically, at least the ones I was at, he was very drunk, I guess, or appeared to be drunk, and he also was around a lot of younger people, including younger women. And even in the article, there's a picture of a girl who's under 21, and they're at a bar in the photo at a Chicago bar, and he's handsy. And actually, one thing not mentioned in the article, I believe it's alluded to, there was an arrest incident with Tom DeVore at the Sangamon County Lincoln Day dinner in 2022, 2023. And the inciting incident of that event, which I don't really talk about in the article, was an alleged drinking party with potentially the Aaron Del Mar Bailey campaigns and the DeVore Rabine campaigns. So I always just thought he was a creep, but kind of but I just never was a really was a part of my life. Didn't really think about him too much. And the impetus for writing that article was just, the Illinois Record is my blog. Those are my thoughts. And so that's just me paying attention to Illinois politics and writing about it. But a lot of people take it as a personal slight. Or it's very funny because he's Tom DeVore. He privately he goes, "I'm going to end your career." So even before that article was written, I was arguing with him back and forth about some of the people that he was endorsing. And his thing is he clearly wants to be he's kind of like the fat ugly kid that gets rich or wins prom king somehow, or he really seems like he wants to belong but doesn't. So in our private interactions, he was saying F you, Max, you're jealous, you want to be involved. But then publicly to the world, he's telling the world I work for Pritzker, I'm a Democrat plant. And then he uses a photo of me with J.B. Pritzker before he was governor at a charity event. So just very, I don't know. low class, deceptive, stupid.
Does he do his, the picture of Del Mar and Hillary Clinton? Does he post that picture?
Of course not. No, here's the thing too, is he never, because I think he also, like, politics isn't a smart person's game. And so to some degree, he must understand that Del Mar's toxic. So you'll notice he doesn't really talk about Del Mar directly too much. A lot of it's indirect support of just like, come on, guys, we got to unite now. I know there's some criticisms, but like, you notice that, like, he gets all like the unity. We all got to come together for the people that benefit him. But then if it's someone like said something mean to him, or like didn't, if he has a crush on someone and they didn't return his feelings, then he just goes off on them. Like, he's posted on, I think, Tony McCombie over 400 times on social media.
Wow.
And I'm not the biggest Tony McCombie fan. Like,
He's fine Tony McCombie real quick.
Yeah, and I think there might be a little cross situation going. But, because, like, the Illinois state reps have no power. Like, I'll criticize every single one of them because they all should be screaming of what's going down in Springfield. But at the end of the day, they are a super minority power. So of all the things that are going wrong in Illinois, I don't think Tony McCombie's the top of the list. But he's 500 times maybe. and petty attacks, he likes to attack people's looks and their backgrounds. He attacks her background. He's a bald shampoo salesman. I think it seems like the shampoo company's over from the article. But now he's selling egg rolls, and he has the gall to like attack people.
Oh,
he attacks her for being a bartender. He does. I heard he got the recipe from ChatGPT, allegedly. I don't know. Maybe it's a family recipe. But part of the issue, too, with that article and the egg roll company is he takes businesses that were other people's businesses. Like, the egg roll business was someone else's businesses. Well, was I think a Chinese immigrant, first generation business. And Tom's like, I got a social media following, maybe a client, maybe I got a big social media following, or like I'm a businessman, I get people. Yeah, that's Tony McCombie. He goes after her a lot.
He goes after, he might. Well, was he trying to get a job? She didn't want to retain him as an attorney. Or it's just...
From my experiences, I feel like a lot. That's what kind of angers me. Is I wish people had standards and principles, and when they cross them, then they start criticizing. But it seems like most things come down to they didn't get a job, they endorsed another candidate, they said no to a date. Seems most political feuds are that, and not here's an issue I really care about, and here's my red line, and you crossed it.
Okay.
Well, also another theory that makes sense is she probably is the biggest, she controls the biggest Republican funds, I think like $1.5 million, the HRO. And so if someone like DeVore was able to kind of get at her majority of the super minority, they can control that bank account. Because that's the funniest thing about DeVore is he started the Tom DeVore's Rhino Removal PAC, where he was going to raise money to replace all the bad rhinos in the state reps. And I think he raised like $4,000, $5,000. So he could have got like a few Vespas. And I think they won one race, like good for them, but I don't think it was necessarily him. It was probably the candidate themselves. But so after that debacle, now he's starting a consulting company. So good luck, Tom. Illinois Republican Party, you fail upward. Every time you lose, it's like now he's got the key. It's like, why didn't you use those skills when you were running or when you ran your PAC, Tom?
What do you think about the Illinois Republican Party?
I think it's what happens anytime if you have, like, imagine if you have a thriving business or you have a beautiful house, and then I guess like your situation, and then the government seizes it, or just people just leave. Like, the things that comes to that dilapidated property are usually the worst of society. Drug dealing, prostitution, just shady deals. And so because the Illinois Republican Party has never had this little power in its 120, 130-year history, this is empirically true, I think you're just kind of seeing it's like a magnet for all that kind of behavior. It's just become like an abandoned lot on the northwest side or southwest side.